I'm going to be leaving this room. Okay, thanks for joining me for the pre-show, and I'll see you on the live show in just a sec. Oh, fancy. Christmassy music. What is this? Okay, I'm going to do a sound check. Oh my god, this is like Mario Christmas music. This is Mario Christmas music. How do I get back to my editor? It's so annoying. Why doesn't it just do that? Okay. It's on the share screen, right? Okay. We're on the share screen. We have bookmarks organised. So to EP, I can't remember what is on the your username is just a bunch of letters. I'm sorry, I can't remember. EPED, I think, from install base. I have made organised some bookmarks. It doesn't mean we'll always be able to find the eShop music. The eShop music is here. I'll put it at the front, okay? Okay. Oh, I put the wrong thing on. I should have put a starting thing. We're starting soon. Okay. So hopefully that thing actually sent a tweet out this time. Maybe I can do the editor whilst we're waiting for it to fill up. Maybe I can add that chat box that I wanted to do. Oh wait, hang on. Is that not on here? Am I live? Am I audible? Let me move my mic closer. Oh my god, this Christmas Mario music, what is this? Hi, Symbol the rapper! You saw the tweet? Yes, and it had the actual real link in it this time. Oh my god. Well, yeah, I sorted out it was sending out dead links before, but I've sorted it out now. Do you know what I wanted to do, right? Maybe I can do it whilst we're waiting here for people to come in. I wanted to add... Hey! Welcome. Still in the jolly mood. Yeah, this music's cheering me up. I wanted to add alert box. So alert box, general source. Oh wait, hang on. Oh no, this is what I mean. Widget. You can add viewer cart, tip jar. Well, we haven't got tips yet. Game widget, donation goal, subscription goal. I would love more people to subscribe. I really would, but I don't know how to get people to subscribe. Donation go. Oh no, I don't want any of these actually. Chat. Yeah, actually chat box. Yeah. Supports Twitch chat, YouTube chat, Facebook chat. Yeah. Add source. Chat box test. So if I add this. Oh no, where did it go? Theme boxed. Is it going to put the YouTube chat on the screen? Theme boxed. Clean. Oh god, this eShop music. It's wild. Twitch. Old school. I'm just looking at the themes, so that one's huge. Well, actually, maybe it's better if it's big or chunky. What up, J2? Welcome. Hide delay. Yeah, I don't really want like a long delay. Chat delay. enable browser settings. What does that mean? Custom code. Revert changes. No. How do I keep the changes I put in? Oh, it just does it. Right, no, what I was thinking of this isn't... Right, you probably can see this, me doing this. Oh my god, fathers! It's like moving the whole thing! How do I undo what I just did just there? What the hell? Like the whole thing's got moved, the background. I need to lock that, damn it, I'm a dummy. Hang on. Unlock all these. Lock. Okay, now I won't move it by accident. Chat box, like, I'm just trying to move this chat box. Ah, maybe it's not it's I think I've messed up the scene. Okay, and I moved. Can I not have it wide and like that? Yeah, I might change. I think this is the 3DS music. Oh, the 3DS. Oh my god, I went on like a 3DS eShop splurge the other day. I need to go back on there and just, because it's closing in like 2 days. So I need to make sure that I, have everything. Hang on. Is it visible? If you type something in there, can you see something coming up on the starting screen? Can you see the chat? It's not working, is it? Or maybe it needs to be on top. Is it on top? Oh, bloody hell. I don't know what I'm doing here. Is it not showing it? Hold up. Let me do a test. Oh, I don't even have our stream open. I want to see the content. Why don't I just watch this? Okay. You might hear a double thing in a sec. I don't mind, I'll mute it. Okay, I need to do this. You might hear a double thing in a sec. Test. Hit the like button, please. Hi, Timo! Hi, welcome! So. Oh, it didn't work. Oh, okay, well, I'll have to do this. Listen, I'll do it next time. I wanted the chat to be on the, I wanted it to be on the front page, on the starting screen, I don't know how to do it. Well, I do know how to do it, but it's just like, I'm going to have to faff around doing it right now. Why is it not showing? I just want that chat box on the top. Sorry, so it works. Okay, Mousy. Listen in if you can. If you can't listen in, then the VOD will be up later. It's not showing the chat. Oh man. Okay. Never mind. I'll try and do that later. Okay, yeah. Please hit the like button, and we'll get started. Yeah, this is the eShop music. Let me copy that into this one here. Yeah, I might have to do the chat on my phone or something. Turn that off. Hang on, I was going to mute for a sec. Hello and welcome everybody. Can you hear me okay? Once I get confirmation of that, we will get started. I turned the eShop music down. But yeah, it's pretty good music. You can hear me. Oh, good. Excellent. Welcome everybody to a brand new episode of Game Cornershop. We have this week 2 weeks worth of Famitsu sales to go through because for some reason there was a hold up with the rest of the top 30 last week, and so Famitsu just gave us 2 this week, so we've got 2 to go through. Also, I just want to say, literally just now, a thunderstorm has started where I am in London, so I don't know if that's gonna affect anything. So if something happens and it gets cut out or whatever, then it's like oh my gosh, the clouds are just rolled in just now. So yeah. That's fun. Okay, this week I have, or should have, stuff pretty organized when it comes to the folders. I have made folders on the side so we can be a bit more. Oh yes, this music. Let's go. Remember this? This is on the Isn't this when you it's on the 3DS eShop? Oh my god, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna miss this music. I'm not gonna lie. Nintendo! What are you doing, Nintendo? Please! Make a faster eShop with eShop music and not that silly webpage thing. You've got like a faster, just an actual fast eShop. That's what I want. I want an actual fast eShop music. I mean, actual fast eShop with music. That's something that's so funny, right? Of all the things that like a lot of people want back, it's the eShop music. It would be nice to have it back. Let me look at this. I'm gonna make sure I have the right chat open. Okay, and if you all enjoyed it, I will tell you. Where I put the, where's the chat? Here, peak music. Peak. It's so good though. Anyway, I wonder if people will show up. Should I retweet my? I need to do my own tweet, right? Wait, I need to look in the other window. Yeah, okay. Maybe you've got a good point. Let me look at my thing. It tweeted out, right? I mean, all I can do is tweet it out. If anyone's here wouldn't mind retweeting it. Here's a link. If you could retweet that, I would appreciate it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can do, really. We'll see. But no, I'm glad, you know, there's a lot of people here. This is fine right now. No, I've been in podcasts with less people than we have here. So let's say hi to everybody officially in the official show, the pre-show. We did have a pre-show that was in the Discord. I decided to do it in the Discord so that it wouldn't blow up the length of the show here, and the people might not be interested in that. I would retweet you, but you are my follower. So I would retweet you, but you are my follower. Yeah, so you can retweet it, Mousy. It doesn't make any difference. Yeah, let's say hi to everybody. We have, why can't it let me scroll up here? Symbol the Rapper, welcome. Dank Meme Center, welcome. J2 Blue, engage. J2 Blue Engage, welcome. Timor, welcome. Thank you for turning out. Marcy Mousy. And that's about everybody. Thank you everyone for coming through. Let's get started. Look, I don't know if you can see the bookmarks down the side, right? You can, right? Look, I tried to be organized with these bookmarks. I tried. It just opens them up in new bookmarks though. I already have it open here. But yeah, we're going to look. It looks like it's two different. It looks like it's the same page. These are two different weeks of sales. It just happens to be the same games that are at the top. So we've got the 6th of March to the 12th of March. And the 13th to the 19th. So this is the one we want to do first. Yeah, so basically for Famitsu, it was late with the sales. With the 11 to 30 sales. So we've got 2 weeks. And I think Mousy said something about doing a comparison between different versions of games or something. Well, it's pretty good actually, Mousy, that we're going to be able to do a good comparison here because we have so many so much new data all at once. So it's fantastic. See, look, this is last week, and this is this week here. So you think, oh, well, it's the same page. It is not. It's different. Look, Kirby sold less. It's different. So yeah, this one's last week. So let's go through this. Let's go through it. So this is the Famitsu sales for the 6th of March to the 12th. This is what was delayed. We had the top 10. We just didn't have the 11 to 30, as I said. So, and I've got it here so we can look at the sell-through, and then did I also open up on the store base? Is this the right one? No, it is not. This one. Yeah, I'm going to enlarge this so you can all see it. I know it just comes up really small. But this one has pictures, so let's do this one. In first place was Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, sold an additional 32,000. Second was, do you know, I'm not going to go through all of it because I think I did the top 10 last week, right? But anyway, let's just look at a bit of it anyways. It's not like tons and tons of news, so I guess we can look at a bit of it. Number 2, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, 20,000. Number 3 is Splatoon 3 with 15,000. Or, you know, I can round up 15.8 or whatever. Number 4 was, oh my god, what is this called? Fatal Frame, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, I think it's called. The Japanese name, I think, is Zero, and then it's Project Zero. Let me use this Google Translate thing. Then it's Project Zero. Yeah, it's just called Zero in Japanese. In the Europe, they call it Project Zero, and then in the US and I think Canada, it is Fatal Frame. Don't know why there's 3 different names. Maybe it's copyright. I mean, there's a lot of games that have different names, different regions, right? But for it to have so many different names, it's kind of. But yes, this is Fatal Frame for people in the US. For people in Europe, this is Project Zero. Okay, it's the same thing. It's the Koei Tecmo game. You're walking around with a camera and trying to vanquish ghosts and all that. You know what I mean? That one. Yes, you're walking around with a camera, and the camera, you can use the camera to get rid of ghosts. That one. Okay, so this was the debut was week before last. It was the debut. So here you can see I didn't think it did that well. It was a total of 19,000. You'll see in a sec. So the Switch version has 10.7 thousand. The PS4 version was 9,000, and there wasn't a PS5 version. It was just a PS4 version. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at number 5, 10.4 thousand. Ib, yeah, we talked about this indie game last week, 9,000. Decent for this type of game, which was an RPG Maker game. Number 7 is this is the PS4 version of Zero or Fatal Frame. Sold 9,000. Number 8, Hogwarts Legacy PS5. 9,000, additional 9,000, so still holding in there. It's been charting for quite a while, so it's pretty good. Number 9 is Wolong Fallen Dynasty PS5 version. That's 8.4 thousand. So you can see that's that the sell-through is pretty good on those ones. Number 10 is the Switch version of Octopath Traveler 2, 7.7 thousand. And then after that we've got some of the usual suspects, so let's skip over those and look at the PS4 version of Wolong Fallen Dynasty. At number 13 there's an additional 5,000. What is this? Raise Arcade Chronology. I don't know what this is. Is this a shoot 'em up? Oh, it's a Taito game. Yeah, it must be a shoot 'em up. So yeah, some sort of shoot 'em up from Taito. This was last week, 4.7 thousand on the Switch. So I would assume this is it looks like a shoot 'em up, right? It's Taito. Yeah, the arcade game. It's actually Square Enix owns Taito, but yeah, they're I don't know when they bought them, but they bought them a long time ago. But yeah, Taito's like the those arcade games. So yeah. Let's skip over Arc. Wild Hearts is still here. On the PS5, that's 3.9 thousand. Total of 42.9 thousand, almost 43,000. But this is last week, so let's see where that is this week. And when I say, you know what I mean when I say this week, it's always the week before the sales are, but it's just easy if I say this week and last week. Oh yeah, here's this shoot 'em up again. Raise Arcade Chronology on the PS4. 3.6 thousand. Interesting. I'd never heard of this. I mean, why would I have done it? It's an arcade game. But yeah, so there we go. On the PS4. Ring Fit Adventure. And yeah, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is still charted. This game released 6 years ago. And the sequel's about to come out and it's still in the chart. That's at number 20, sold 3.2 thousand, additional 3.2 thousand. I am not looking at your chat right now, so if you've written you've written a whole bunch of things. Oh, Roche, welcome, Roche. Yeah, it's so annoying. Okay, I'm gonna have to open this up on my phone. Yeah, I'm gonna open up the chat on my phone. Just pause the video and then I can just read the chat on my phone because it's now to be engaged by what place from 30th to 11th. Dank Community Centre. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Dank. I'm not sure what you mean. Roche, glad to see Bayonetta managed to be on top 10. Yeah, we'll get onto that in a sec. Like this week's sales. You mean Bayonetta Origins, right? Yeah, we'll get onto that in a sec. Okay, so we got, right. So PS5 version of Octopath Traveler 2, 2.4 thousand at number 26. Right, so take note of where that is. Make a mental note. You got it? Okay. Gran Turismo 7 PS5, 2.3 thousand. Now this is likely bundles, but nevertheless, here it is. Momotaro's still here. We have. Oh no, did I see the other? Hang on. I'll really look at the other version of Yakuza in a sec. Metroid Prime Remastered sold an additional 2.2 thousand at number 29. And we have the oh man, this Google Translate really butchered the name. This is Like a Dragon Ishin. Okay, I'll just call it that. Google Translate. Yeah, that's at number 30. That's the PS5 version. That's sold initial 2,100. Now the PS4 version is here. Here we go. PS4 version sold an additional 3,000 versions. 3,000 or bottles. This is bottles. It means it just translates like that. It's weird. Roche says Octopath barely holds on the top 10, but so far looks like it hasn't broke one. No, it hasn't. So time to. No, Roche, stop this. Roche says time to. I think you mean showdown. Yeah, showdown. I think you mean shutdown. Team Asala. Yeah, I'll talk about that in a sec. Actually, what is sort of happened with. Like, I don't think the game's hit 1 million. Whereas the first one hit 1 million within a matter of 3 weeks. So Day2 Blue Engage says Resident Evil is called Biohazard in Japan. I'm not sure why. I can kind of explain that. It was, but yeah, Biohazard is the original name, and it was called Resident Evil in the West because I think Biohazard is such a generic. It's kind of, when it comes to copyright and stuff like that, it's kind of generic, right? So it was called Resident Evil because the first game was set in a house. It was just in a house, right? So it made sense. Resident Evil is resident inside the house. If I'm wrong, it's in a house. Isn't the first game in a house? So yeah, for every one game after that, it doesn't really make sense. But why is it called Biohazard in Japan? It's just the name they picked. I guess it's just the name they wanted. But that's why it's not called Biohazard in the West, because I guess they just literally couldn't. Sometimes you just can't trademark something like a Biohazard. It's just too generic of a thing to try and copyright, right? Oh, Kika says a mansion. Yeah, that's what I meant. It's a mansion. Kika says it's in a mansion. Yeah, the first game's in a mansion, not a house. I meant a mansion. But anyway, what I mean is like, it's in a residence, right? It's in a residence, so they call it Resident Evil. But then for all the other games, the name doesn't make sense. But yeah, it's Biohazard. Some games, in fact, there's a lot of games that have different names, right, in Japan and the West, because sometimes they just can't translate it, and sometimes, but you can see that, for example, like Yakuza, it's always been called Like a Dragon in Japan, right? Or like in Japanese, I think it's Ryuga Gotoku or something like that. I might have got that wrong. My Japanese is not good. I'm still learning. But anyway, so it's always been called that in Japan. So they chose the name Yakuza in the West. I don't know. Maybe they thought that sounded more edgy, and then they're like, now. Then I noticed they gradually started trying to change the name. So now it's just going to be called Like a Dragon everywhere. They're just changing it. It's just Like a Dragon now. So, but then when you use the Google Translate here, because it does it like an algorithm and it works, it kind of looks at names of things and will give you localized names of things. That's why it's come up as Yakuza, and then I guess Ishin or whatever translates as Restoration Very. It doesn't even make any sense. Here's the Japanese. This first bit is Like a Dragon. Yeah, Dragon Warrior. But you say Dragon Warrior. That's a good example, Kika. They changed that as soon as they couldn't. I think at the time they could not copyright or trademark or whatever it is Dragon Quest in the West at that time. So they called it Dragon Warrior. But then they changed it to. They was able to change it to Dragon Quest. So I think like the first 2 or 3 games were Dragon Warrior in the West, right? Yeah, and then they changed it to Dragon Quest. So now it's just Dragon Quest everywhere. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't know why they chose them. I think Animal Crossing, they chose the name, like here, Animal Crossing it's called Animal Crossing in the West. But it's Dobutsu no Moi in Japanese, which means animal forest. So it's Animal Forest in Japan. but I guess again, if you translate it literally, and calling something Animal Forest and then trying to trademark that, it's like really generic, right? So you can't necessarily trademark things like that are not pretty unique. So that's probably why okay, Animal Crossing, they call it something else, Animal Crossing. So that's Animal Crossing in the West, right? So that's not the only thing. There's tons of things. You can look up Mega Man, Rockman. That's Rockman in Japan. Mega Man is Rockman in Japan. But again, I think Rockman is kind of generic if you say it like just in English like that. Or, you know, just, I mean, they say it kind of the English way in Japanese as well. So some things it's just like, yeah, some things you just can't translate. Sometimes when you translate something literally, it doesn't sound good as well. But yeah, so there is a lot of the time it is to do with the issue of trying to copyright something in another region, where if you can't copyright something that sounds really similar to something that's already copyrighted, otherwise you end up getting like legal, people take legal action against you and all this nonsense. Okay, so let's look at this week, and we're gonna compare them a bit. So, Roche says, I think they changed the name of Yakuza on the West because of the new antagonist story arc. Yeah, Marcy says Yakuza doesn't make sense as they're disbanding the Yakuza. Yeah, so I think I think Roche, they took the fact that the protagonist was changing as an opportunity to also unify the name worldwide. I think they just like that was happening. Like, okay, since that's changing, let's just change the name as well. So they called it Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon. So they introduced the name there, and then when you have the next one's called Like a Dragon 8, it's not as weird. But yeah, that's one of the ones like. It's one of the cases like, why, like it's so when it comes to these names, it's so weird. Like, so they did it's a translated name of the Japanese name. They're not going literally with the Japanese name, right? They're translating it. The translation is Like a Dragon. It's called Like a Dragon in English. You look at something like Shin Megami Tensei. It's called Shin Megami Tensei in the West. They use the same name. I ask people, does anyone even know what that means? I mean, I know what it means, but most people that play the game or buy the game, do they know what it means? Or why the game is even called? It's just that it just sounds like a name. But again, if you trademark that in the West somewhere, then there's no one else is going to have that name. It's completely unique. So then it can make sense to have something like that with the same name. Because again, if you translate that into English, it doesn't sound necessarily that good. Shin Megami Tensei means like new goddess resurrection, or new goddess reincarnation, or something like that. Which, it doesn't sound as good, does it? So that's why I guess they kept the name. It doesn't sound as good if you translate it. So yeah. Okay, let's go into the top 30 for this week. Okay, so this is from the 13th of July to the 19th of July. July. Why am I saying July? I mean March. I wish it was July. I don't think it started on modern anime. Oh no, that's a whole nother thing. Yeah, anime. A lot of the time we do get localized titles for anime though, Kike, don't we? I'm trying to think of anime I've been watching recently. Like some where they translate the name. Like I've been watching, what's that one called? Is it Tomo-chan is a girl? I started watching that, but it's like they just literally translated the name into English. I can't wait for like the new goddess reincarnation. That is literally what it's called. That is what it meant. Yeah. So it doesn't sound good. I can see why they just get this like they're just like just screw it. We just keep the name. Just they're not gonna even change it. Just not even gonna bother. Which is strange because they didn't even bring that franchise over properly until like the third game. Basically, SMT3 Nocturne, the third one. And they're just like, well, just keep the name. Just have the name. They didn't change anything. So yeah, but it sounds kind of cool and mysterious when you say Shin Megami Tensei. It sounds like kind of cool and like, you know, it's a bit more edgy. In theory, Rush says, in theory, the SMT translate does sound good for a subtitle of an RPG. Yeah, maybe for a subtitle, but not for like the actual title. You know. Marty Mouse says, also these days, companies try to also keep the names as close as possible, but back in the day, they tried to make names they thought would appeal to Westerners. Exactly. Which is why you end up with things like Dragon Warrior. I know that was like a copyright thing as well. Dank Meme Center. Sometimes localizing the name is localizing the game is for the best. Yes, it depends. You look at some of them. Like, you ask about the Resident Evil one. Yeah, I imagine they just could not register. Biohazard is just, it's not like unique enough or whatever to like trademark or copyright. So I guess they just couldn't get that done. So that's why they went with Resident Evil. And then sometimes it's because they think it sounds more cool to change it. And edgy. I think that's how you ended up with Yakuza, because most people know what that means. They know what Yakuza means, right? So it sounds more edgy than Like a Dragon, right? So that's how you ended up with that, probably. Okay, number one, still at number one, and you'll see this chart is very similar to last week's one, the first part anyway. The usual suspects here. Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe. That sold an additional 25.2 thousand. Number two, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, it's not even called. It's called Pocket Monsters or Pocket Monster in Japanese. They call that. They call the game that. And they call the anime that. But then it's still, the franchise is still known as Pokemon in Japan. But that the game title is Pocket Monsters. And the anime title is Pocket Monsters. But everywhere else outside of Japan, it's just, the whole thing's Pokemon. But they call it Pokemon in Japan. And it's like, the whole franchise is still called Pokemon. But the game titles is that. Anyway, that's another example. And I think that's why, and that's again, I know the reason for this one actually. I know the reason why they couldn't. Because at the time, there was, I think it was like a Roald Dahl book or something that was called, it was called something like Pocket Monsters. And they could not register it outside of Japan. So they had to come up, they had to do another name for everywhere else. So they just like, okay, we'll just use the contracted name, which is Pokemon. So that is the actual reason, again, why it's got the different name everywhere else. Yeah, so anyway, that sold an additional 15.3 thousand. Number 3 is Splatoon. That sold an additional 12,000. Yeah, and in Japanese it's called Splatoon as well. That's the same name. Number 4, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, 9.2 thousand. Number 5, Minecraft, 6.6 thousand. And number 6, this is a new entry. This is Bayonetta Origins. And it sold 6.4 thousand. Sell-through, not that great. Not great. So, this is a game that I didn't think was going to do. I was even like wondering whether it was going to get into the top 10. The on install base, they actually had like this. They have these betting. You can bet on different things that are going to happen in the charts and so on. And they give you like this fake money. So you've got this fake like install base money, right? It's just like fake betting. And one of the bets was with this chart in the top 10. Now I bet against it. I didn't think it was going to chart in the top 10. I thought, because I was thinking, maybe there's going to be some other. I I didn't sit down and look at all the dates, and I was thinking that maybe there would be other stuff in the charts that would push this down, and so it wouldn't make the top 10. But as it was a slow week and there wasn't like any big releases, it's in the top 10. So I lost like 100 like fake install base bucks or whatever it's, I don't know what it is. Install base currency that I lost. So I lost on that. I don't know if I can show you on here. I'll have to find the betting thing. Yeah, look, so they have this section, official betting, and you can, but yeah, here it is, look. Will Bayonetta origin chart in the Johnny's launch week, and I lost. Look, I placed one wager. A lot of people lost, actually, I think. Oh, look, some people won. Okay, so there's, you can put my comments. I'm like, no, I lost. Oh man, I didn't make it. I lost. Yeah, and then Lila, who's one of the moderators there, said it would have needed several majors releases though to push it down. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I forgot. I thought that it was going to be near Atelier Riser, which would, I mean, Atelier Riser's got like 3 SKUs, right? So then if the Atelier Riser had come out, they was at the same week, it would have pushed it down. So I think I just forgot when Atelier Riser 3 was coming out, because that's 3 SKUs, right? It would have, I swear that would have pushed it down. I just completely forgot. So yeah, I didn't think it was, I genuinely did not think it was going to chart in the top 10. So there you go. Yeah, so here you go. And this is to be expected for this sort of title. Actually, why don't I have my Twitter on here? Normally I like to reference my own Twitter. Let's find my Twitter. Wait, what did I swear, I think I tweeted out that, where I tweeted? I tweet. Yeah, I don't, yeah, so I again, I'm not not as organised as I thought, because I thought I had Twitter. I've got Twitter open, but it's on the other window. It's on the wrong window. It's not on the right one. Now I look disorganised. Okay, yeah. I just thought it's just an extremely niche game that I didn't think was going to chart. Basically, it's a spin-off of an already niche franchise. Bayonetta is niche. I miscalculated. Thank me. I miscalculated. I don't know. I don't. In my head, I thought Atelier Riser 3 and Bayonetta Origins were going to be in the same week. And like I said, Atelier Riser 3 is 3 SKUs. It's 3 SKUs. It would have pushed it down. So I lost 100 like fake install base bucks. I don't know what they call it. It's like this fake money that they give you. I don't know if I can. Yeah, look, you can see my one wagers placed. So there's my wager. I staked 100 fake install base bucks, and I lost. Because I was like, the reason, because you could put between 50 and 100, and I'm like, oh my god, I am so winning this. Yes, let's go. I thought I was gonna win. That's why I put the maximum amount. I thought I was gonna win. Kika says, don't go into fake bankruptcy. Oh my god, I might. That's my of all the bets, because the bets are like going to like future events. So this is the only one that's come up. So like I've already bet a lot of install base bucks. I've already bet my install base bucks on like loads of different bets. So we have to see about the rest of them. I did like everything. Like I think I did like all of them. Upcoming bets. How can't I see the upcoming bets on here? How do you see them? Oh yeah, I don't normally do the NPD ones and that. Awaiting settlement. Yeah, it's all these things about best. Yeah, so these ones are coming up, right? The best selling game of the year on the NPD. So obviously these events haven't happened yet, so they're like way into the future. Will the ABK acquisition close in 2023? I'm pretty sure I staked my install base bucks on that. How many acquisitions the platform holders will announce in 2023? What did I put for that? I did bet. It's not. See, it's not open. I close. What did I bet? I can't remember. I definitely bet. Where do I see what I put? Oh, you can put wagers placed. Okay, yeah. I used my. I wasn't confident. I put only 15 stall-based bucks down. I wasn't confident. I put 15 stall-based bucks. I put 2 or 3. I thought it was going to be 2 or 3. Because you have to include the ABK acquisition, right? And then I thought, well, on top of that, it's probably going to be another 2. Right? Right? It's stall-based bucks. So yeah, that's what I bet for that one. Resident Evil remake launch numbers in Spain, which I wasn't that familiar with. I'm not that familiar with the Spanish market, but I think Leloch, I don't know how to pronounce this name. I know it's some anime I don't watch, but yeah, I think they wrote what the previous ones had sold. So you kind of do it like that. Starfield launch, because some of these bets are really fun. Starfield launch quarter players number. We got Final Fantasy 16 retail first week numbers in Japan. Obviously a very interesting one. That's why that got 52 bets on it. Look how much install-based bucks was a bet on it. I thought 3,958 install-based bucks. Spider-Man 2 launch week sales. PSVR 2 launch quarter sales. Hopefully we'll get that. Zelda launch quarter sales. And new Switch model. Like when, I think it's when it's going to be released. Or when. What is the bet? New Switch in 2023. No new Switch in 2023. I think I put no new Switch. What did I put? Yeah, I put no new Switch. And I was like, but I wasn't that confident. I only put 15 stall-based bucks. Because yeah, you can put between 50 and 100. So yeah, I did 15 stall-based bucks. I wasn't like crazy confident. But I just think there's no way it's coming this year. But Roche, you stop this right now. You stop it. Roche should bet on the survival team of Sana. So Roche, you need to stop it. Thank Meme Center. Italia would have easily pushed down the game just a week. Yes, he would have pushed it down! Because it's 3 SKUs! He would have pushed it down! I was so dumb. I forgot that it's not coming out the same week. Thank Meme Center. Oh, JT Bloom is winning fake bets. That's freaking gut. But I didn't win. JT Bloom, I lost. Thank Meme Center. Does Night Dive being bought by Atari count? No, because it's not a platform holder. Is Atari a platform? No. Wait, the Atari VCS is not a platform. That's a mini PC. No. No, it's not, Dank. Oh my god. They're not a platform holder. You can't call the Atari VCS reasonably a platform. Who's making games for the Atari VCS? Please tell me. Who's making games for the Atari VCS? Nobody. Their install-based buck rages are interesting. Yeah. They added this. It must have been a few months back now, or was it last year? They added these fake, like they gave it. Just said, oh, here's our bets and here's your. They just gave you a load of these install-based. I'm calling them install-based bucks. I don't know. It doesn't have a name, but I'm calling it that. They just gave you a load of them. And said, "Oh, go and if you want to, you can bet. You don't have to do it." But yeah, the bets are fun. The bets are fun for sure. So yeah, I kind of got off track a little bit, didn't I? Let me see. Yeah, I was thinking maybe I need to make another window for this. I didn't have time to do it. Make a window to display the Discord chat on stream. I might fiddle around with this. I'll fiddle around with this at some point, and like once I get the new layout done and stuff. Okay, let's go back to the chart. Yeah. So yeah, we're just talking about Bayonetta Origins, right? So there. Number 7, we've got Hogwarts Legacy, which is still holding on there. Number 5, an additional 5.6 thousand. So what was it last week? The previous week. It's number 8. So it's gone up. That went up. Or the total what it's sold has gone down. But because it's a slow week, right? It went up in like position. Although it's like almost, it sold almost half of what it did last week. But it's just a really slow week. That is how Bayonetta Orange has got. It wouldn't have been there otherwise. If only Atelier Visor had. Oh, damn you, Atelier Visor 3. Why didn't you release this week? Oh my god, I would have been bucks in, install base bucks in. Okay, number 8 is Nintendo Switch Sports with an additional 5.5 thousand. Number 9 is Octopath Traveler 2 on the Nintendo Switch for an additional 4.7 thousand. And this is another case of like similar to Hogwarts Legacy, where it's gone up even though I think it's sold less. Hang on, 7.7. What was it this week? Yeah, so it's like half, right? But it's gone up in position because it's just a slow week, and Wolong and Zero or Fatal Frame all dropped. They all pretty much all dropped out the top 10, right? Yeah, so they all dropped out the top 10. And that is how Bayonetta Origins got in there. If they had stayed in there, if you had had Fatal Frame, what if Wolong, if these bloody PS5, PS4 games could hold on for more than a couple of weeks, they would have been in there, and then Bayonetta Origins would not have been there, and I would have won install base bucks. I would have won. Anyway, so what did I get to? Oh yeah, okay. Number 10 is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate with an additional 4.2 thousand, and then yeah, so this is where Wolong ended up. Bloody Wolong dropping out the top 10. The PS5 version's at number 12. That sold 3.7 thousand, and we're gonna skip over some of the usual stuff because let's face it, right? These are evergreens. There's always gonna be Animal Crossing. There's always gonna be Ring Fit Adventure. Are these things ever gonna leave the chart? Probably not. for a while anyway. Yeah. So Wild Hearts is here. Now Wild Hearts hasn't. It's still here in the chart, but overall it has not done well. Because look, the total's just 45,000. You know, that's not. I hate that I can't highlight on this thing. You have to highlight the whole thing like that. It's just 45,000, so that's not great. I think if I click it, it's just going to open up like the whole game page. Oh look, it got rated 8.3. Is that critic review? I think that's a critic review. User 8 point. There's no user reviews. 8.3. Yeah. So. Yeah, and where was it last week? Or what did it sell last week? 2 points. Yeah, I'm trying to do that comparison, Mousy. You said let's do a comparison. Let's do it. So yeah, so number 16, 2.4 thousand. Where is it in here? Yeah. So again, it's gone up in the chart, but it's sold less than last week. And again, it's because Wolong and all these games that just can't hold on, they just all dropped out, and everything's gone up. Everything else went up. So I don't think these are great numbers for Wolong, and I don't think it's a great number for Wild Hearts. Now, on the surface of it, I would say Wild Hearts it looks like it was a more expensive game to make than Wolong, especially because Wild Hearts was published by EA, so they foot at least some of the bill for this. And EA even published it in Japan, so they published it everywhere, including Japan. So, but I don't think this. I mean, yeah. So maybe for Koei Tecmo, it's not that bad. But this game did not do well worldwide in other regions as well. It just pretty much tanked. in like Europe and everything. It just didn't do well. And you know, I had my thing with this game is, although you could say well, there's some interesting and good things they've done with the game. I said when I first saw the game, when I very first saw the game, when they first revealed it, I said I don't think this game is going to do well because of the extremely generic monster designs. When you have a monster hunting game or a monster collecting game, the design of the monsters is the most appealing thing about it. Trust me, it is the design of the monsters that big, iconic, good designs. And the thing is with the Wild Hearts, the monsters in Wild Hearts, they look like just big versions of animals you would see, right? So it's a big wolf or a big boar or a big badger-looking thing with just like extra things stuck on it. And I said these designs, they're too overcomplicated. They're not unique. They're not like, they don't stand out. They're not memorable. You know, so that's when it game. You can go back and look at I've got receipts, man. Go back and look at my Twitter. What I tweeted out when the game was revealed. I said the monster designs are generic. You need to have good monster designs, iconic monsters. Honestly, I really do think that's why you see something like Monster Hunter enduring. You can think, what's the like the, you know, mascot monster or flagship monster for Monster Hunter. It's a Rathalos, right? You know what it is? It's a Rathalos. You can see it. And what is a Rathalos? It's just a made up thing they made up. It's just a dragon looking thing, right? But it's iconic design. It's not an overcomplicated design, but it's unique enough that you can say it's kind of like a dragon, but what is it? I don't know. You know, something like that. And they have ones that look like kind of they got like a, what's that bear or sloth looking one? I forgot what it's called now. It was like a big badger looking thing with, you know, different coloured fur on it. I forgot what that one's called. They got Rathian, of course, which is the female counterpart to Rathalos. So, you know, that was I think it was the monster designs. That's why you look at something like Pokemon. The monster designs are just so iconic and memorable and good. They were good designs right off the bat. You know, they've changed them a bit and they've refined the design. I mean, we all remember Fat Pikachu, right? So they've refined them a bit, but that initial design was so good that very little had to be done to change it. You know, and they still keep coming up. There's some you know, people like more than others, and some people are like, oh, why is this one like an ice cream cone? It's not even meant to be an ice cream cone. Anyway, I'm not getting started on that. What's that one called? Everyone was like frosty. It wasn't James Turner that designed that, and everyone got on at him for that. He left Game Freak now. He's got his own thing. The new game he's doing looks really good, actually. This Plucky Squire, it looks really good. I think they revealed it's doing some indie thing or something, like a year. Was it a year or last year or the year before? And everyone was like, oh my god, what is this game? What is this game? Yeah, it's the dudes from that used to be at Game Freak. Yeah, so you look at that, and so I look at something like, so when you'll remember, I'm getting really off track now, but you'll remember, so in like 2019, Pokemon Sword and Shield came out, and everyone kicked the F off. People were kicking off about that game, complaining, and even though they all went out and bought it, and you know for a fact that all these people that were complaining bought it because the game wouldn't have sold 25 million. There's no way that if all the Pokemon fan base was dissatisfied, they didn't like it, that the game could have possibly sold 25 million. So anyway, so they just, it's just pure cap of these people. But the point is, in that same year, you remember, there was this indie game that, do you remember the name of it? Do you remember Temtem? Do you remember Temtem? And it came out with their beta on Steam, or early access, I should say, early access on Steam, and people going crazy over it. Oh, this is going to take over. It's going to rival Pokemon. Pokemon's going to get up. Pokemon's going down. Da da da. All this. You remember this in 2019? Anyone remember this in 2019? That happened. And as soon as I saw Temtem, now they did something, because don't forget they did this before, like, they have, the battles is kind of strange, because it's like, it's an MMO, right, that you can play in co-op, but it's like an always online MMO thing, but it's kind of like, there's still random battles, like you have to go in the grass and like an old style Pokemon and random battles, and it's turn based, right? But when you do the actual battles, there's no random element. There's no like, oh, you have a chance and you can miss, your attack can miss or anything like that. It either hits or it doesn't. So all the randomness is completely taken out, which means it doesn't look. Oh yeah, see, it was the bring back the national deck. Thank you, Dunk meme. It was the whole Dexit thing and all that was going on right there. That's why people were kicking off, right? So anyway, yeah. Or if you go and watch those Temtem battles, because there's no random, the battles are really dry to watch, because I think that element of randomness makes it more exciting to actually as a spectator thing, right? As a spectator thing, which is what they was trying to do. They basically designed the game with like the competitive thing in mind, and they spent so long doing the game, this mechanics of the game, it needs to be like this. And what was the one thing that they neglected? So, oh my god, there's like horizontal rain. Like driving rain, where I am now is absolutely wild. The weather. So if I have internet problems, I hope my building doesn't get struck by lightning. Oh my god, it's kind of scary. Oh my god, this storm. What the hell? Yeah. What's the one thing that they neglected on Temtem? The monster designs. The monster designs are complete arse. I'm gonna say it. They're arse. They're not good. The monster designs are just like, good lord. And it seemed like they did something, like when they were designing the monsters, like, okay, we're not good. Pokemon, they have like random, they have a rock and a ball and all this stuff. There's a Pokemon. No, ours is all going to be like an actual animal thing. So it's going to be like an animal. And yeah, the monster designs are not good. Also good. I'm angry in the Pokemon gods. Yeah. Oh, what, hair? Yeah. Some of these Pokemon can end the world. So let me look at some of these comments. And here comes MVG with a brand new game. Does MVG have a new game? What is it? I thought he works for Limited Run. Someone said in the Discord that he works for Limited Run, because I forgot that didn't he leave Right Dive? Roche says no 100k of Octopath in JP complete disappointing from Square incoming from their latest investor call. No 100k of Octopath in JP complete. Yeah, like in their latest investor call, I think didn't include Octopath just because it was outside of that financial period. But it's definitely disappointing because this game is behind the first game, which sold 1 million in 3 weeks. And you know, I've had some people on Twitter that's like, oh no, well, Square Enix because I said, well, they put it on more platforms. They wanted to sell more than the first game. The first game sold 3 million. They wanted to sell more than 3 million. Right? No brainer. That's why you put it on more platforms at launch. So people coming and saying, oh no, well, Square Enix, they knew it's going to sell less. They knew it was going to sell less when they put it on more platforms. How does that even make sense? Oh, you can hear the thunder now. How does that even make sense? Why would they spend more money? Because it costs more money to do that, by the way. Put it on more platforms and everything, knowing in advance that it's going to sell less. Like, no, they wanted it to sell more. So it's pacing behind. The first game, despite being on more platforms at launch. So, yeah. Anyway, so we've got Wolong. Am I looking at the right one? Okay, so yeah, so we have Wolong PS4. I did that one. Fatal Frame. I'm gonna call it Zero Rare. I So that's what you call it in Japanese. But we're just gonna call it Fatal Frame, if you know what I'm talking about, right? So the Switch version sold an additional 1.9 thousand. We've got the Like a Dragon Ishin PS4 version, 1.8, what's 1.9 thousand. This is bundles, we're gonna ignore that. Metroid Prime, am I doing the right one, right? Am I looking at the right one? Oh my god, I need to check. Yeah, this is this way. Oh yeah, okay, so Metroid Prime sold an additional 1.5 thousand. And number 26. So this is a new entry. I'm honest with you, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. Let's see what Google translates. I don't know, probably not going to be very helpful, is it? How do I turn on Google Translate? Where did I translate at? No, not that. I want to translate. Where translates? No, not that. Where doesn't it normally do the translate button thing? Oh my god. Oh, here it is. What is this thing here? It won't even translate. I'm being serious right now. It literally won't even translate. Why are these things not translating? Okay, so this is what it is. Shinsaku, the stranger of the city of swords, the Black Palace. Dude, I don't know what that is. If anyone knows what that is, tell me please. Yeah, I've never heard of this. But anyway, this is a new entry. Number 27 on the Switch, 1.5 thousand. So, and then some people that don't know any better are buying FIFA on the Switch. 1.4 thousand, and then the PS5 version of Like a Dragon Ishin holds in at number 30. It's 1.4 thousand. Now, you'll notice here that, because I think Mousy wanted to talk about this, that the PS5 and 4 versions of Octopath are gone. They are no longer in the chart. So we're going to talk about that. Mousy, can I donate some of my bucks to you? I don't bet on anything, period. Not even fake bucks. I don't believe if you could transfer the bucks between users, then it wouldn't be fair, would it? So I don't believe that's possible, no. But if you could, I would take them, Mousy. I would take them. But no, that wouldn't be fair if they did that. Roche says, I give Wild Hearts a year before shutdown. I don't think it's actually a live service, Roche. I think it's like a co-op game. You can play it on co-op. So I don't think it's an actual live service. So I don't think they can shut it down. Roche says, yeah, the mechanics looked cool, but yeah, the designs were lame. So this is the thing. That what you said there can equally apply to Wild Hearts or Temtem. I don't know which one you're talking about, so can you clarify, please? Can you clarify? Geronimo, I'm here on time. Welcome, Geronimo. Well, we've been live for a little while, but it's okay. It's okay. Welcome. Roche said, and in Monster Hunter, rotate the poster monster depending on entry, showing exotic and different designs. Exactly, yeah. Although, obviously, Wild Hearts is like the first. I know they had the what's it called, Talkie Den or whatever it is, the one before, but this is like to be a new IP. Yeah. Dank Meme Center, yeah, not having something like Rathalos or Magnamalo hinders overall by beyond the launch period. Well, okay, so the flagship, their monster, that's their monster of the game, is the monster that's on the cover here. This monster, which is just a wolf with things stuck on it. Like I said, I've said this. Can we see it here? We got images. I might have to go. Literally all of the monsters are just stuff. Monsters with stuff stuck on it. Wild Hearts monsters. Okay, let's look at them. So their flagship monster is like this wolf. This is what's on the cover. This thing. Oh, can I just have something big? It's too small. Look. You can see this, right? It's just a wolf with stuff stuck on it. With just the crap stuck on it. You know? I mean, it's kind of a case of like a slightly overcomplicated design. Because sometimes simple designs work as well. But just a big wolf with things stuck on it. I don't know if that's gonna cut it. Oh look, someone did this. Okay, look at this. Let me show you this. This is a good picture. Somebody did this. This is VGC, right? They happen to just happen to do this. So here, right, this on the left is Wild Hearts. This their flagship monster from Wild Hearts. You look at what that is. So these are better. This is a good comparison as well because they're both kind of like Japanese themed, right? So you can see what they were going for with both designs. So this is a wolf with things stuck on it, right? And it's kind of like these blue bits going up here and almost like a wing position, kind of like yeah, it's inspired from like Japanese folklore and stuff like that. And if you're familiar with Okami, the video game, Amaterasu, the wolf, has this like almost like wing things on her back, right? So it's kind of like a similar thing, but that. And then look at the flagship monster for Monster Hunter Rise. This is called Magnamalo, right? Now the face of it is inspired by, you know, those masks that like the samurai would wear, right? That's what I mean. That is what the face literally looks like. But look at the design of that one compared to this one. Can you see what I'm talking about here? Why one looks so much more... I mean, you can say the Magnamalo is overcomplicated. It is a pretty complicated design. But it's just so much more memorable and unique. And what is Magnamalo? It's just some dragon-looking thing with a samurai face on it. You know? But I feel like it's more imaginative, more memorable. Basically, if you see what I mean. This is what so when I first thought Wild Hearts, that is why I thought it wasn't going to do well. And I said that. I said these monster designs are lame. What they showed us, and then the other thing they showed us was one that just looked like a big pig, a big boar with things stuck on it, like this. Okay, so this is the other one they showed us. And can I make this big? Open everything tab. Okay. So yeah, it's pretty big now. It's too big. It's smaller. Okay. So this is a boar. It's like a big boar, big pig, with extra pair of eyes for some reason. Like teeth, like needle-like teeth, huge, enormous tusks, and then a whole bunch of crap stuck on it, like a whole bunch of grass and moss and, you know, why? It's not like, this is just my opinion, by the way, because this is completely subjective. It's completely subjective. All I was saying, or the point I was trying to make, is that for most people, the monsters are not going to like stick in your head or be like that. You know, I don't know what the names of these monsters are, but there's no people going, oh yeah, the big boar with the extra eyes, that's my favourite monster from Wild Hearts, and really like getting behind it and doing it. You know, that was my opinion of why I didn't think it, even though like the mechanics, I think when I said the mechanics look cool and everything with the kind of the trick boxes, like the stuff, and it was like, you know, like Fortnite or whatever. I just didn't think that was enough personally. Right, I've got a load of comments here. I'm gonna try and get to them all. And yeah, but I think we've done like the actual the software sales now. J2 Blue, bring back Big Chungus Pikachu. They did. They brought back They did bring back Big Chungus Pikachu in you know, Sword and Shield. You know the Dynamax thing. You could have a Dynamax Pikachu. They did. Dyna. How do you spell that? It's such a weird made up name. Dyna Max Pikachu. Oh my god, can I spell Pikachu? Yeah, look at this, look. They did. They brought back the Big Chungus Pikachu. They brought it back. In Sword and Shield. Look. Big Chungus. They brought it back. Right here. And actually, I didn't check to see if they actually made. I don't think they made different male and female versions of the Dynamax Pokemon, because you'd think it'd have a different tail. And look, was it in Pokemon Journeys? Oh my god, it's coming up in a video. Oh, this is a clip. Does it turn into Fatamax Pikachu? I've never seen this. Where's this fat Pikachu? Okay. Okay, so now it's gonna Dynamax. Oh, it's called Kyo Dynamax in Japanese. There you go, look! Look. Look, fat Pikachu. The really big fat Pikachu. Dynamaxed without a band. Oh, did he not use the band? Oh, they call it Kyo Dynamax. It's not a Kyo Dynamax. How? He just ate the cream and grew fatter. He said he Dynamaxed without the band. What? He just ate the cream from the what the hell? He ate the cream from the what's that other Pokemon called? I've forgotten. The cakey looking one. So that's what happened, okay? So you had so they brought back Fat Pikachu. They brought back Fat Pikachu. Oh, that was funny. Geronimo says MVG was at GDC, so he must be up to something. Oh yeah. He must be up to something. I don't know, I have no idea what though. Bring back National Dex Saga of Copium, yeah, Dank. That's what. Oh my god, that was out of control back in 2019. That really was. JT Blue Engage. Temtem was too busy trying to chase the Pokemon back. They forgot to make good design. Exactly. They were so busy, like, oh, we need to appeal to the hardcore, the competitive scene, and they were so focused. So where's Temtem now? I mean, they've released it now. It's gone past the 1 point whatever version. That was the. You might not remember. I know this because I was a nerd who was following all this stuff. Okay, so there was a whole bunch of Temtem podcasts that all popped up around that time, and most of the people that were on those podcasts were jaded Pokemon fans. They were jaded Pokemon fans who were like, oh, Temtem's doing everything that Pokemon's not. Temtem is the best. There was a whole load of YouTube channels and podcasts that all sprung up along that time. Because I know, because I listened to them. I listened to them to see what was up, what was going on, and they were all jaded. They were all jaded Pokemon fans. They were kind of bitter Pokemon fans. I just thought that Temtem was the new hot stuff. And it was there's like, yeah, this is gonna, oh my god. There's some good, oh my god. Let's see if I can find any. Temtem versus Pokemon. Oh, I don't know if I can see any good, oh, this one's good. Oh my god. Look at these videos. Oh, it's gonna destroy Pokemon. I don't know if anyone here remembers when this was happening. And this is like this Temtem. It's still like it's in like a top down view with like random battles and everything. I wonder if we got like a comparison that people put. Look at this. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet in the trash. I don't know if does everyone remember this? Okay, so here's some of the designs. Look. Okay, let's go forward a bit. Look at. Are we seeing this? I want you to really realize why Temtem failed in not that it failed to be a decent game, or it failed to release. That it failed to quote unquote dethrone Pokemon, and how it's going to take down Pokemon. Look at the designs of these monsters. Can you see what the issue is here? These are the actual designs. So it's like, okay, well, you've got this design, okay, of what is this one called again? Farfetch'd, right? Farfetch'd. Oh, the name's on the screen. I didn't even see that. Farfetch'd, right? It's a like a duck-looking bird with a leak, holding a leak. Right, and you think, well, it's just a bird with a leak. How is that? What makes that a good and memorable design? Because this is still, wasn't this a Pokemon from Gen 1? Farfetch'd was in Gen 1, wasn't it? Or Gen 2? I can't remember. Anyway, it's one of the original. From near the beginning. It did not get an evolution until Sword and Shield. They gave it an evolution. It never had an evolution for 20 years. And what makes this such a good and iconic design? It's a relatively simple design. If you actually look at the design, it's pretty simple. It's literally a duck, that kind of a duck-looking bird, with just like 3 black feathers on its head and almost like a angry brow, although it doesn't look angry, and it's holding a leak. And then you look at that on the left, and you can see what the issue is. I hope you can see what I'm talking about here. And you can see this is what they put. So whoever made this video put them side by side to see that there's nothing wrong with being inspired by another franchise. We see it many times. There's nothing wrong with that. But this in particular was literally trying to be Pokemon. And so we have Turtwig from, what gen is that? Gen 2? I don't know. It's not Gen 1. I think it's like Gen 2. And then you have Crystile on the left. Now, can you see what I'm talking? It's like giving them, look, this, if you look at Crystile on the left, it has like these anime eyes. Anime eyes isn't enough. The actual design needs to be good. And you should see what the evolutions of these ones look like. Oh boy, oh boy. This is one of the starters. This is one of your starters. And look at Turtwig. What is Turtwig? It's literally a tortoise with a branch on its head. It's a tortoise with a branch on its head. But the actual design is good. The actual design is good. I'm on full screen, so I can't. If you're typing stuff in the Discord, I can't see it right now. Oh yeah, look, there's the evolution. Oh my god, I missed it. There's the evolution. Can I go back? How do you go back frame by frame? Isn't it like that? Yeah, look. So here's the final evolution of that one we just saw. Sherald, right? And then here's the final evolution of Turtwig. Grotile. Is it how do you pronounce that? Grotle? Right. Can you see that you can't even see the whole of Cheryl, but Cheryl just looks like a bigger version of the other one. Now this one, it's a bigger version of, but it's like they've changed. This doesn't look. I know some Pokemon do look like they just look good. They just got bigger, but this one in particular is like changed quite a lot. You know, there's one thing you don't want to do. You don't want your evolutions to look like bigger versions of the smaller ones. So there are a few Pokemon where they are a little bit guilty of that, but it doesn't occur nearly as much as it does in Temtem. So I could never stand this one. Mushi and his fungus. I said the designs don't have to be complicated to be good. Oh well, this one was awful. Oh my god, this one. So that one we just saw evolved into this one called Mushuk, and you can't see it per hair properly, but the face was awful. It's just, oh my god, it was so bad. So yeah, unfortunately they've cropped them really weirdly, so you can't see them. So their Hocus is meant to be like an Abra, you know, the Brainiac type or whatever it was called. I don't even know what it was called. Geronimo, there were Temtem focused podcasts. Yes, there was. I listened to them, Geronimo. There were Temtem. You find it hard to believe. There were whole podcasts and YouTube channels that sprung up around Temtem. I'll see if I can find it in a sec. There absolutely was. There absolutely was. There was a whole, like, they were doing like you know, competitive scene, and they were weekly. I used to watch Twitch a lot more back then. There were like weekly Twitch competitive Temtem competitions. Yes, there absolutely was. Geronimo says, only thing I remember from those early Temtem days is that some of the Pokemon creators got a bag from them to promote the game, but never again because Temtem kind of sucks. It does kind of suck. J2 engaged while these look legit terrible. Yeah, I told you. They're uninspired. They're bland. That's the biggest problem is the designs are bland. I told you, like, the Pokemon designs, they're not all like some of them are really simple, like Farfetch'd, but that is such a memorable monster. You could understand why that's memorable, why the design is good, and why people love the original 150 or 151 to this day, right? J2 Blue Engage. I know some people complain about the 3D designs in Pokemon, but simplistic designs are not meant to be easy to translate to 3D. Yeah, maybe that's another thing, because they were originally designed in 2D and then they made them, 3D. But I guess the ones nowadays are kind of, but they make them. I think the way they do the Pokemon designs, right? They need to make when they do designs, the designs have to work in 2D because they've got the anime and the trading cards, so the designs have to work well in 2D as well, right? So when they design it, they're designing it for the game, but they have that kind of stuff in mind, that they work well as just 2D as well. Where some of these Temtem designs don't look like they would translate as well to 2D, even if they, didn't have this kind of soft outline on them. Some of the designs transitions more gracefully to 3D and XY, but with each new gen it's getting better. Yeah, Geronimo, Grotile is grown turtle. Yeah, I figured it must be something like that. Yeah. So look at that. This is the evolution of the one we just saw. This one's called Pocus. So they said they've Abracadabra. They did Hocus Pocus. Right. It's almost the same. Whereas Abra and Kadabra, they have some like more significant differences, I feel. Can I go back? Hang on. I did that. Can I go back? No? Is it that? Oh. I don't know which button it is now. Oh no, that goes 5 seconds. Oh, never mind. Right, and they had this one called FOMO, which, about simple designs. This one's a bit too simple. It's just a smiley face with an ice cream cone, and then its butt is just like a cloud. And then they compared it to Swablu, which has clouds for wings. Can you see why one of these designs is better than the other? You see what I mean? Yeah, I could never stand this one. Yeah, so here's more comparisons. I mean, they literally made, oh my god. That one's not too bad. Nestler. That one's okay. I'll give it to them for that one. That one's alright. But that is its evolution, and that one's crap in my opinion. Yeah, maybe it's just me. I think that one's crap. Yeah, Swally, they just copied Metapods, basically. But you'll notice everything has, a lot of the designs have these same anime eyes as well, which yeah, I don't know. See, look. Look at this. What's it called? Lowly and Beautifly. Hmm? Yeah, that this guy, this is terrible. It's terrible, especially when you see, because you can't see them in action, what they look like moving here. And oh wait, this one Laurantis, from the first one, I really liked this one actually. Yeah, so I mean, look at bigger, right? Are we seeing the issue? And again, it's got the same eyes. Have you noticed that they all have this same anime eyes? And that's the evolution of that one. And they reckon it's like that and that put together. Yeah, I'm not that clean on Horlucha, whatever it's called. But yeah, I mean, this one's okay. Magnet, oh, what's it called? Ragnet. It's okay, but the legs are too small. It's like it skipped leg day or something. The legs are too small. It's got puny legs. Did you see that? That how it just looked like it got a neck, it just got bigger with a neck. Look, watch. Look. Look at this one. Zephyruff versus Rufflet, which, I mean, look, you can see what they're going for. I'm not imagining this, am I? Yeah, and then look at the next one after Zephyruff. Look at the next one. It's the same thing. They're just giving it a neck and like some extra feathers. Volorend. Whereas I feel like Bravery and Rufflet do look significantly different. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they kind of copied that a little bit. Yeah, so that's the equivalent of like Mark. Some of them it's okay, but I just, you know, you can look at Pidgeot and say, well, Pidgeot's just a big bird. I mean, it's a big bird, and it's just all bigger versions of the same bird. But I mean, no one likes Pidgey anyway, so no one's gonna. Don't start claiming that Pidgey's your favourite Pokemon. I will not be. No, I know you're lying. You're lying. But yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I just feel like one design. I think Pidgeot's a good design. It's a long flowing kind of mane. I mean, look at this thing. What the hell is this? Magmus. What is this? Oh man, I've really gone off track. We are not sticking to the topics at all, are we? That one's okay. 2Y is okay. Evolution is not so much. Why did they put that? Boss. Akachino? No! Oh, this person who made this video likes this Pokemon. And they put these meme glasses on it. It's a good design though. Iconic design. And like I said, if it was just a bird, how can you make a... Look at it's a really well done design. And memorable. You remember. This is Articuno, right? I don't even put Bossicino. Is it Articuno this one's called? You know, that design's okay. This Noxolotl, it's alright. Or it's crazily, I don't know what's going on. I'm not really keen on that. You know, they've got their Tepping versus Swinub. Yeah, so that's not really fair, because that is like just a... That's just it doesn't look like that in the game. I don't like that one at all. Kalazo. So yeah, you can... Why Chimchar's a good design and why Smazzy not so much? I mean, Chimchar has personality for one. You know, in my opinion. Yeah, and this, if you know the story of this one, Platypet, if you look at Platypet, you're like, oh, that's pretty good, isn't it? It looks more like a actual Pokemon. If you remember, this is a Fakeamon. There was a fake leak before Sword and Shield came out. Oh no, or was it Fakeamon? It might have been the Fakeamon for actually Sun and Moon. It might have been a Fakeamon for Sun and Moon before Sun and Moon came out. There's always fake starter leaks, right? This was part of a fake leak. They intentionally made it look like it was a legit leak, but it wasn't. And so when they were making Temtem, the developers bought the rights to this Fakeamon from the person who made it and put it in the game. I think it might have been one of their goals or something. I don't know. Or I don't know if it was like a stretch goal from the thing, but yeah, this is a Fakeamon. You remember Geronimo? Yeah, that's it. There's a platypus Fakeamon, and they put it in Temtem. That's why it looks kind of like a Pokemon. It doesn't really fit with the other designs of the other monsters or the other things on here, right? It looks a bit different. That's why. And yeah, they've made evolutions for it. Evolution, I mean, that evolution's okay. I think the one after it's not great. That evolution's okay. Yeah, so I think what they did is when they designed the evolutions, I think they designed it themselves or something. I don't think it's from the original designer. So that's why that one, Platymoose, not so much. It's like, why did it have those weirdo arms? And again, you see it's got the tiny little legs. You'll see this ongoing thing where they go have the small little legs on them. Big arms and small legs. Again, look, I told you this thing with the anime eyes. The same eyes on all of them. Whereas with Pokemon, they kind of, at least the eyes are a bit different. Yeah, so Volvaire. Definitely trying to be a Cubone. Oh, I hate that one. Would look too human. The body was too human. I hated that one. Volcrane. Body's too human. It's awful. Awful design. Didn't like that. That's one of the starters. This thing. Huchio, whatever it's called. Huchick. That's the evolution. Tental. Anyway, so yeah, no, oh, I love Dub Wall and Wooloo. I love those. I love them. Give me them. Give me. I love Dub Wall. I don't care. I'll fight you to the death over Dub Wall. I'll fight you to the death. So yeah, so maybe that gives you an idea of why, you know, nobody talks about Temtem anymore. Okay, obviously this person's joking, right? They're obviously like joking. They're saying that looks like Loki. A little bit, so the cape. They're kind of like having a joke there, right? Armored Mewtwo? So yeah, that literally looks like Skip now. I mean, look, but like, what is going on there with that design? Look at this thing. Sparzy. Look at it. What is that? What is that? Why is it grinning like that? Like, what are we doing here? Right, so if you're wondering why Temtem maybe didn't do that's why. There's a couple of things on too. Oh, big chunk. Pokemon made a trash. What is this thing? That's big chunk. Oh, Articuno. I'm just looking at what keycard type. Big chunkers. Okay. Pokemon made a trash bag have a personality. They did. So yeah, there were Temtem podcasts. I don't know if they're still up now. There definitely were Temtem podcasts. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of Temtem content. There's like Temtem battles. Was this one? I think was this a Temtem channel? Yeah, look, this is an actual. Here you go. They haven't uploaded for 5 months though, but they were still doing stuff. This is a Temtem YouTube channel. Legacy Temtem. It's literally a Temtem YouTube channel. So I didn't even know there was any still around, but that one's still around. Legacy. Oh yeah, I remember somebody's Hey yo, Tem Talk. You said you didn't believe me? Here you go, Tem Talk, the Temtem podcast, which is playing the Temtem podcast, right? With like the artwork Tem Talk. Yeah, podcast dedicated to the creature collection MMO Temtem. I don't know if you can see when they made the channel. Yeah, 6th of March 2020. This is when people were just, you know, crapping on stop that. We're crapping on Sword and Shield. Yeah, the last thing they did was a year ago. I'm surprised they even went that long. There you go, a year ago. For going, gone. Yeah, they did go after that. Gotta go fast. Ironically, they did go. So yeah, there were Temtem podcasts. So I remember all this happening. I'm like, let me see where this goes. And so I used to check out what they were doing. Whole Temtem podcast, hours and hours and hours of this. And some of them were jaded Pokemon fans, talking about the competitive scene. That it was a thing that 3 years ago. This is when they thought Pokemon was going to take down Pokemon. Goat's Wall! Literally the goat. These designs ain't it, fam. Goat Wall. Spires looks like a creepy scene in Alloway. Temtalk, this is wild. Yep, I told you. There were a whole Temtem podcast. It was an actual thing. Because I remember following this saying, look, let me see where this goes. Just out of my own interest. Follow like all these Temtem content creators that there were back then. Temtem versus Pokemon, about how it's taken. Oh my god, it was wild back then. It was so wild. What people were saying about Temtem taking down Pokemon. Oh my god. Oh god, I remember this channel, Gym Leader Ed actually does stuff in all monster collecting games.
Hey everyone, and welcome to our very first ever monster.
No, I'm not advertising for you. Yeah, Gym Leader Ed's still going. Their channel's actually pretty good. They do all sorts of different monster collecting games, including Pokemon. Yeah. So, talking about, and they do like news and stuff. So, I remember this. I mean, I haven't looked at this channel for, probably over a year, but this used to be a really, when I used to look at it, it was a very good channel. But yeah, we kind of got off track. So we should get into some of this news and stuff. I was hoping that somebody would join me on the show, but we don't have anyone yet. Anyway, let's proceed. Let us proceed. So, let's get into the hardware sales. That's basically what we need to do now, isn't it? So, hardware this week. So I did put in the title. This kind of Mousy was the one who was like, I asked Mousy was the one who said maybe put this in the title. So I put it with question marks. It didn't sound too trolly, right? So it's like true baseline of PS5 revealed? Question mark. You have to have the question mark. Oh, Kike says that they can join in 10 minutes. Oh, that would be awesome, Kike. Yeah, I think I need to like have a couple of minutes break in a sec. Because I'm sitting here and it's getting dark in my flat. Right, everyone can see this, right? Here we go. We're going to talk about this, okay? And what I think is going on. I'll expand on what I said in this tweet. So, here are the hardware sales for last week. So we did have the hardware sales last week. We just didn't have the rest of the top 30. So the hardware sales, the Nintendo Switch sold 49.5 thousand. That's down 10,000 on last week, which was 59,000. The PS5 sold 40,000. 40.4 thousand, which is down on last week's 64.8 thousand. The PS4, we're still getting like over 1,000 or something a week. So yeah, the PS4, which is down also down on last week. So we got 1.1 thousand versus 1.6 thousand last week. But PS4, I mean, these PS4s that are selling, it's just such a small amount that, I mean, Sony has already cut off like the they've stopped the count. They stopped the count for the PS4 already out of like 100 and what did it end up? Was it 117,000 or something? I can't remember. Somebody tell me. I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyway, they stopped it. So they count up in increments of, when they reported numbers, it was the increments of 100,000. So it'd be like 1.1 million, 1.2 million, and so on, right? So the fact that they stopped it, which means they don't think they're going to sell more than, and even if they did sell more than 100,000 more PS5s after they stopped the count, because they did say they stopped counting it, then it's just statistical nothing. It's just not, in terms of like how big the number is, it's like almost nothing. So worldwide, is it selling like 10,000 a week? You know, it's like nothing really. Xbox Series. I don't know what's going on with Xbox Series. I did comment on previously before that I thought maybe like that we weren't going to see. Though there was occasional weeks that we saw like 10,000. There was that one 16,000 week. I said I don't think we're going to see those again, and I said one of the reasons I think demand has been satisfied, and I thought that some of the people that were buying those were buying them because maybe they could not get hold of a PS5. Maybe they really wanted a PS5 and they couldn't get one, and they were getting Series S's, which were readily available when at a time when PlayStation 5s were not. So maybe that's why it's gone down. Or maybe, you know, Famitsu's adjusting his numbers and it's not going to count like twice as, they already counted twice as many Xbox Series as what Media Create has, for reasons that are not completely clear. But yeah, so it's down significantly on last week, so it's just like drops down and down. And year to date, so this is interesting, right? Even though it's dropped down here, year to date is 35,000. The last year to date was 35,000 as well. And lifetime is 433,000, which, according to Famitsu, like I said, Media Create, they're not saying that. They're saying like 200,000. So I don't know what is the, I mean, there's a big discrepancy. If it was just like a little bit, like this, like a little tiny discrepancy between the other consoles as well, but that one is just, it's like 50% difference. So, and the 3DS, which sold 138, so that went up a little bit from last week. So I think I was like, oh, maybe some people rushed out because the eShop's closing, but I'm like, it's kind of too late for that now, right? So then we look at the breakdown for the PlayStation 5. Again, it's mostly, it usually, well, it pretty much always is more like PS5 versus the digital edition. The PS5 is just like the regular one with the disc drive, and then the PS5 DE is the digital edition. So obviously there's way more of those. And Xbox Series, you can see more X actually than S, which is unusual usually, but maybe because it's such a small amount it just ends up shaking out like that, because normally it's always most of the time it's S, more S. But no, a lot more X. It was the same last week, there was more X. So they must have just sent a whole bunch of X for the past like couple of weeks. And then yes, we switched to OLED. We've got less OLED, less light, less regular Switch, and then obviously PS4 they discontinued the Pro a long time ago. So the PS4 they sell, which is like the base PS, it's like the PS4 Slim basically, is the one that they sell. And the PS4, the 2DS LL is the same as the 2DS XL. They just call it LL in Japan, which I don't know what that means, but that's what they call it, LL. Now, to expand on this slightly, I feel like we need to look at what has happened with the PS5 sales. So we're going to go back on a little journey. We're going to go, let's go back a couple of months. Shall we do that? Is everybody ready? I don't know if I should do this on install base or I should use that other site. It might be easier if I use that other site to see, because this is a very good site. I don't know who made this site, but it's amazing. Cool. What on earth was that? Did you hear that? What the hell? Something just went bong. What was that? Do I have some video open or something? What just made that noise? Did anybody hear that on the stream? Huh? There was a bong noise. Where did that come from? That sounded like a noise you'd hear on the airplane. You heard it, Geronimo! Where did that come from? It's not my alerts or anything. I don't have any alerts set up like that. What was that? That was so weird. I'm trying to figure out what that was. Yeah, like an airplane. You'd hear an airplane or something. You heard it. You all heard it. Did it come from Discord? But I'm not even connected up to anything. What would Discord doesn't make noises like that, does it? Discord, I mean, Discord noises, you pretty much already know what the noises are. That was so weird and creepy. Well, at least it wasn't just me. Everyone heard it. It wasn't this chat box, was it? The chat box doesn't make a noise like that. Test. Do I? You can test the. Oh, you can turn the alerts on or off. Play. So that's an old, like. I just did that. I did that. That's an old. Oh, you can hear the road. Oh no. You can hear that? The vehicles. No, but that actual bong came from the computer. That wasn't outside. Yeah, no, I was just replaying an alert. So when I do have an alert, that's how it comes up. It's not like that bong you just heard. That's not the noise that I have set up on here. That's really weird. There's a gremlin in my PC. There's a gremlin. I don't know what's happening. I got a gremlin. Okay, never mind that. How long have we been live? Oh god, almost 2 hours already. Barely through the show. Okay. Let's see if we can look at niche barrier. Will this help us? PlayStation 5. Oh no, wait, this is just... No, it's just show me hardware, software. Where's the hardware? Hardware. Okay. Here we go. So we can sort by... What the hell? I want to sort by most recent. That's not the most recent. Why are they not sorting by most recent? Or like week? Sort by oh, it's going to be too long. I want to sort by. Does this only go up to 22? Why would it go up to, why would it only go up to April 2022? Oh no, there is 23 here. It's just all mixed up in the wrong order. Oh no. What have I done? Weekly sales. What have I done? Oh, okay. I need to do it like that. Okay, that's the problem. I was doing week rather than the number. Okay. We figured it out. So let's see what happened here with these software sales, right? And this site allows us to do it quite a lot more easy. It would have been more of a faff if I did this on install base. There's a very good site called Niche Barrier. If you just, it's just a you know, like an archive of like a whole bunch of Famitsu and Media Create data. So let's see what happened with these sales, the weekly sales. So we had, starting at the beginning of the year, we had an increase of PlayStation 5s. We did have Jim Ryan, who said at the end of last year that there was going to be, you know, a whole bunch of PS5s. We heard Yoshi P, the producer of Final Fantasy 16, repeat the same thing he was saying to the Japanese gamers mainly, because there was no PS5. They're like, oh, well, we can't play Final Fantasy 16 if we wanted to, there's no PS5s. He said, oh no, we're going to have a load of PS5s. And Jim Ryan kept his word, and there was. So let's see exactly what happened. So we had, obviously at the end of the year, beginning of the year, sales always go up because that's the most popular like sales period in Japan, and it's like kind of like it's basically like that in the West as well, right? So we did have here the holiday sales weren't that great. At the end of the year, it was okay. We had 70,000 and 68,000 just before Christmas, and then the sales we got on Christmas Day here. week 111. Oh god, how can I don't want to highlight one thing. It just highlights the whole thing. Anyway, week 111. Maybe I need to make a bigger pointer. Can you all see my pointer? Or should I make it bigger? Maybe I need a bigger pointer. Hang on a sec. How do I make my pointer bigger? It's in a display? Not in display, is it? No. Focus assist. No. How do I make my pointer bigger? Storage. How do I make my pointer bigger? Does anyone know? I thought it was in settings. Storage, like none of these things. You know, I hate Windows. I hate Windows. I got Windows 10. I hate Windows 10. Windows 11 I hear is no better. Windows hasn't been good since Windows 7. That was the best Windows. That was the best one. Bring back Windows 7. I wanted like a modern version of it. That's up to date. Not this Windows 10 is crap. Can't do anything. Anyway, I don't know how to get my pointer bigger. I know there's a way to do it. Oh, hang on. Devices? Oh no, not devices. Oh no, hang on. No, I've got it. Mouse. No. Typing. Shouldn't it be under mouse? Cursor speed, mouse. USB. Print. Typing. Where's the thing where you can change the size of the pointer? Personalization? Oh my god, fathers. Well, if I can't find it, I have to give up. Where is it? Apps, accounts, time, gaming, ease of access. Oh my god. It's under ease of access. Oh, here we go. Mouse pointer. Oh my god. So annoying. Okay, we're just gonna make the pointer bigger. Okay, it's enormous now. It's enormous. Okay. My mouse is literally not. Can you see it now? It's enormous. Can you see it? This is much more helpful though. You can see it properly, right? Wait, I'm not even looking at the chat. One sec. Chat. Ah, my chat's not displaying. I can't see it. Please display my chat. Yeah, I did it now. Can you see this? Can you see my pointer? Is it big? Is my pointer big now? Am I looking? No, yeah, I'm on the right. I thought I was on the wrong window. Hopefully you can see this giant pointer. I made it big for you. For everybody here. It's large. Okay. Well, hopefully that will help so you can see what I'm pointing at. Okay. So we have here at the end of the year. It was like at 68,000. January 1st. Right, 46,000. And then it dropped. So this happens with every system, everything, all software. Like right after New Year, everything just drops off. So that's what happened, right, with PS5. This is not unusual. This always happens. It happens to Switch, happens to everything. So January 8th, week 113, just 113, 39,000, and then it started to climb, right? So a little bit. January 15th, 44,000. This is just hardware, by the way. We're looking at hardware. Big chunk of pointer! Yeah, there's a big chunk of... I need a big chunk so you can see it. Okay, and then this is what happened after that. January 29th, 62,000. And then we had the 90,000 week, right? Two of them, actually. So what happened here... This is when the immediate supply. We knew everywhere supply, and it's still now. Everywhere is completely stocked up. There's no. Don't listen to. There's some random people on Reset Era saying there's no stock. Everywhere in Japan has stock. Okay, you can check it online for yourself. They all have stock. Right. So then we had 93,000 February 5th, February 12th, 93,000 again. It's the same. And then February 19th, 88,000. So people were saying at that time, oh, the new baseline is 9,000. And they were dancing. And all these like, oh my god. All these like console warrior fanboys came out of the woodworks, and suddenly they all wanted to talk about the Japanese sales. Yeah, PS5. In the meantime, the software was not improving at all. There was no improvement in the software, right? So it's like, okay, people are buying all this PS5, but how is the software not going up? This doesn't make it. And you know, because if anyone that's been here for these weeks, I've been doing this show and everything, it wasn't going up. And I'd say every week. By the way, there's a huge rainbow that's just forming like in front of me after this storm that's passing now. It's enormous. It's a huge rainbow. I can see the entire arc of it. It looks amazing, actually. I can literally see the entire thing because I have like a 180 view, you know, where I am. Wow, looks really amazing. I would show you, but that would be too much work, too much hassle. Going to wait. Okay, Kike, I'm just gonna go over this hardware and I'll bring you in, right? Kike's going in the waiting room. Okay, just give me like 5 minutes. Okay, so yeah, then all these like console, remember there was all dancing and shit. They were linking arms. Oh my god, it's a double rainbow now. It's a double rainbow. It's a double rainbow. Oh my god, you can't see this double. It's like an enormous rainbow. It looks really cool. So you had that, and then people were saying, because you had a 93 week, 93, 88, 91,000 on the February 6th. That's it. A whole bunch of people, some people in install base as well, were declaring, right, that's it. Done and dusted. The new baseline for PS5 is 90k. Let's go. I'm like, how in the can it be 90k every week when there's no software? So where's the software? What are all these people buying? Where's the software going? It's like, oh well, no, it's PS Plus. They're all in PS Plus. They're buying PS4. And it's like, no, you can debunk these things one by one. They're not all playing PS. You can tell because there was no increase in PS4 sales in the used market, which the used market shows records of that in Japan. In fact, it's going down sharply. So it's going down sharply. So there was no improvement in that. So, and with you can say, well, they're all playing. It's just like those things like PS Plus and free to play games and everything. They're available worldwide. Why is this phenomenon only occurring in Japan and nowhere else? It's only it's literally a double rainbow in front of me. J2 Blue. I would take a picture, but my window is actually filthy, so it won't look good, and I'd have to go out on the balcony. So I'm not going to do that now in the middle of the show. So, but it looks amazing, trust me. It looks really amazing. So that happened, and then what happened after that? It went to March 5th, 78,000. March 12th, 64,000, and this week, March 19th, 40,000. So what happened here, and I think some of the software sales back this up, is that there was pent-up demand for people that had not been able to get a hold of PS5s, right? And now suddenly the market was flooded with PS5s and they was able to buy them freely, able to freely buy PS5s. So I think that these were PS4. I think this was PS4 owners. Now, yes, there's scalping going on, but that's that's another thing. But yeah, there was PS4 owners that were buying PS5s, and I think the software sales kind of brought this out because you saw in more than one instance recently, PS5 version, when there's like a PS5 and a PS4 version, you saw a few releases where the PS5 version was selling more, and then a sudden like a really dramatic drop off of PS4 software. And I think I might be able to show that here. Like I said, this site's really good for looking at data like this, right? So this was really helpful because I could see all the hardware sales here, which I hope everyone here was able to see that. It might have been too small. I know I've got this thing at the side, so that kind of doesn't help, does it? Yeah, sorry if that was too small. I can make it bigger. So now I can't see the top of the site. I made it too big, and I made it too big. Okay, so if you go onto I think Famitsu Weekly. So we go into Famitsu. So they put the Famitsu Weekly sales in here, right? And I think if we, this is the latest week, the data that's in here. What's handy about this is that we can see the software market right here, right? This bit that I'm looking at here, the software market. We can see what software is selling. Like they've just put the total units of everything and just totaled it all up together, right? So let's have a look, because we can go through this week by week. But before we do that, I'm going to bring in Keycare, and Keycare, when I bring, hopefully you can hear me, Keycare, I'm going to bring you in, and then I need to have like a quick couple of minutes break. So do you wanna take over the show for just a teeny weeny bit? Keycare's gonna host, hopefully. When you're ready, Keycare.
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Hello.
Hello, Keycare. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Oh, fantastic. I actually just need to pop out for a couple of minutes. So would you be able to take over the show? Well, just a couple of minutes while I need to go to the toilet. So it'd be really helpful if you could do that. Just a teeny weeny couple of minutes.
No problem.
Thank you. Talk about whatever you want to, but just don't swear. No swearing. Okay, I'll be back.
All right, I'll try my best. Let me see. Let's see if I can pull up comments. Right now, I think there's any new comments. Any games you guys been playing? Any cool things happening this week? It's updating. Don't see any updates. For me, I've just been playing the new update for Sonic. I don't know if anybody has been playing Sonic Frontiers. Still trying to beat all the challenges. It's gonna take a little while for me, but seems pretty cool. About that. Let me see. Resident Evil 4 came out today. I've been hearing great things about it. It doesn't surprise me because it's still a great game. Definitely want to get more into playing Engage. Probably back to Frontiers to play some more Sonic games. That's cool. Have you played? Let me see what games are out for Sonic in the modern games. No, we're getting an update for Origins in June. For that, trying to see if there's anything new coming out. No, but since we're trying to see what good games come out in April. Oh, Jedi, the sequel to Jedi. I'm really interested in that because I really like the first one. Hopefully that the sequel is good. And then after that, in May Zelda. Mainly Zelda for me. Let's see. Oh, April's also the Mario movie. Everybody's gonna go see the Mario movie. Let's see. It's been a pretty quiet week, all things considered. Well, is it quiet? But a lot of stuff has been happening. I know the Sonic news came out. I know the Pokemon anime finished stuff for Rash. Um, there's a bunch of stuff that they come out. But it's been pretty chill. Chill. Thing for me. Oh, that's right. Advance Wars. I forgot. Oh my god, how did I forget? I really want to play Advance Wars. I really, really want to play Advance Wars. Man, it's been through a journey. I forgot that it's been so long, man, and Nintendo doesn't advertise it as much, and I can understand why. But yeah, holy yeah, definitely Advance Wars, definitely. Dang, I hope it does well enough so we can get more. But considering everything that's happening, I don't know if that's gonna happen. Mm.
Okay, I'm back. Back with a
Welcome back.
beverage. I'm back with a hoodie. So nice and warm now.
That's okay. We're just discussing games we're playing and then what's coming out in the future.
Oh, cool. Yeah, there's a lot of games coming out soon.
I forgot Advance Wars is next month. I forgot.
You forgot what? Sorry.
Advance Wars is next month.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang. So, I wanted to talk about these software sales and how that. I was talking about hardware sales, right, Kika, and
Yeah, I did see that.
and what the software sales looked like during that period when the PS5 was like huge. So, can I put this in a separate actual? Let's do it like this. Let's do it like this. No, go back. Okay, let's do this. So we've got the where is it now? The software sales right here, and we got the PS5 hardware sales. So let's look what was going on during those 90k weeks. February. Actually, I could have just done it like this. I'm not dummy. But oh no, this is slower if I do it like that. It's slower. If I do it like that. No, that's fine. Okay. So this was that week of, so end of January is beginning of February, right? There's a 90k week for PlayStation 5. Sold 90k, look. So here's the breakdown. 93,000 PlayStation 5. 55,000 Switch. And 14,000 Xbox Series. Was it 14,000? Xbox Series in that week? Oh god damn, there was. Okay, so this was the last time we saw like a big number for Xbox Series. It's not hitting these numbers anymore. So yeah, that's what we saw then. So during that week, that so much PS5 sold, let's see how the software looked. So here's the software for that week. This is the same week where there was 90,000. Look, 90,000 PS5. Look at the PS5 added together here. There's 95 PS5, and look at the software. You can see right here, Nintendo Switch, 155,000 was 92% of all the software sold. There was 164,842 units of software sold. 92,000 of it was Switch. 7% PS5, 1% PS4. During the week, the PS5 sold 93,000. Kike, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, when I saw that list, when I saw the numbers for this week, my first thought is, what happened? Because I was starting to believe in the 60,000 like
Oh no,
baseline. I was starting to believe it.
you just believe in it. You just believe it. You didn't believe in. Did you believe the 90k baseline?
No, because for me, in order for me to start believing something, I need to start seeing like repeat like numbers. Like if it's 91 week, I gotta wait like let's say 4 more weeks of 90k for me to believe. Okay, maybe that is the new best
Well,
line.
we
But
basically
we didn't
had
get like 90.
we basically did because if we had February 5th 93,000, February 12th 93,000, February 19th 88,000, and then February 26th it went back up to 91,000.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when people at that time people were like, yes, let's go, and they were dancing in the streets, and then all these like all these YouTubers and weirdos on Twitter were like, the PS5 is back in Japan, and they were dancing and everything. I saw them, Kike. They were dancing.
Dancing in the streets.
They were dancing in the streets. Yeah. And I was like, you know, but the software stuff. Why is the software not going up?
The software was never up. I even saw that. Like, I think only like Gran Turismo was the only game that was consistent.
Well, Gran Turismo is a hard one to gauge because it's bundled. So what we do see is bundles. The one that did come in and sell well was the Hogwarts Legacy. Legacy, which really, when did that release now?
February something.
Right, so during that time it released. So if we look at February 12th, let's take a look at February 12th. Pardon me, the week of I'm drinking this monster. Right. Yeah, so this is the week it released. So Hogwarts Legacy released the week of February 12th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or just before that. It would have been just before that, but it released on the 10th. So it released on it was just before that. Obviously the chart comes after, and it sold 67,000, right? So 67,000 is the top of the chart, and then we can look at that week of hardware sales. Again, it was another 90k week with 93,000, right? And in the software, because of the Hogwarts Legacy selling, what did I say it sold again? It sold Okay, so it sold 67,000, right? So if you look at this, if you can see the stream, we've got the total software, 210,000 total software. So 62% of it is Switch software. 38% is PS5. But then, so that's 80,000 units of PS5 software sold, and no PS4 software that week, right? So,
yeah.
Do you remember how many I said that Hogwarts Legacy launched at?
I do not at the top of my head.
Alright, so it was 67,000, right? So we look back at the top of the chart. It was 67,000. There were 80,000 total units of PS5 software. It was almost all one game.
Yeah.
So almost all one game.
Which I know somebody said that Harry Potter is big in Japan, so it doesn't.
It's popular. They have like the Universal Studios thing and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So of all the games to come out, it like looking back, like hindsight 2020, like of all the games that could stick around on the charts, it makes a little bit of sense that Hogwarts Legacy is the one. But yeah, 67,000 out of 88 PS4s.
67,000 out of 8. I think it was 80. Out of 80,000 software sales. So even if you look at that, right? So
yeah.
there was 80,000 units of PS5 software, and then 81,000 units of PS5 with the disc drive.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, oh, well, that's almost 1-for-1. That's good. Well, the problem is this is almost all one game, and the other problem is we should be seeing more software than that for there being supposedly 3 million PS5s.
Yeah.
I just got a message from Mousy. Hope you don't mind if I can pop. Yes, Mousy, sure, you can come in. Yes.
Yeah, no, yeah. They need, because the Switch has multiple games in the charts, so seeing just one game doesn't look good in the long term. And Sony's probably just like happy to have one game in the charts, but yeah.
I don't know if Sony. I mean, Sony didn't have any. I mean, they had some marketing for it, but I mean, they didn't make that game, did they? So.
No, yeah, they didn't make it, but they want a good narrative, if that makes any sense.
If they wanted a good narrative in Japan, I feel like they wouldn't be doing all the things they've done. In my opinion, it's my opinion. Okay, so that was one night. What week was that? That was the week of the 12th, right? So the week of the 12th. So let's go to the next week. We can just do it like this, right? So let's go to the next week after that. Okay, so next week, Hogwarts Legacy is still at the top of the chart. It's sold another 36,000, right? And we can see there was quite a few new releases. There was Wild Hearts, Tales of Symphonia, and Fiat Rhythms. Unfortunately, did not do well. And this was a week. Oh, this is we talked about Square Enix and their shenanigans. So yeah, PS5 sold 88,000 keycat, right? So I sold another 88,000. So let's look at the software totals. I told you this site's good. Right. So we had, because we had so many new releases, we can see it's kind of more split up here. Oh yeah, and then we had Xbox, like Forza charted because there was a bundled game with one of the Xbox Series X, I think. Anyway, so 224,000 total software sold, right? 61% of it was on the Switch, 32% was on the PS5, 5% was PS4, 3% Xbox Series because of that bundled game. So let's look at what the PS5 software was. We had Hogwarts Legacy, which just released the previous week, sold 36.9 thousand. Wild Hearts, which in my opinion this is complete bomb, 26.9 thousand. Tales of Symphonia, I mean, it's a whatever. It's a GameCube remaster. Well, it's not even the GameCube. That's why people are kind of annoyed because it's not the GameCube version. But you know what I mean. It's just it's an old ass game. Okay, it's an old ass. Who cares? It's an old ass game. That's what I meant. Right. So that's all 21,000 on the Switch, 7,000 on PS4. Yeah, Fiat Rhythm, 3.6 thousand on the PS4. On the Switch it was 11,000. What else was there? Yeah, that was pretty much it. So of the PS5 software, I need to look at this again. Hang on. So 71,000 units of PS5 software sold. 71,000 units. Right, 36.9 thousand of that alone was Hogwarts Legacy, and then 26,000 of it was Wild Hearts. So that's almost all of it right there.
Yeah.
Right, so we're not seeing like a good spread of games. So that was an 88,000 week, right? We're still in like these really hard weeks where there's a bunch of fanboys dancing in the streets, right? So let's go to the they were figuratively speaking on Twitter and so on. Right, so let's go to the following week. Sorry, go ahead.
I said it wasn't just Twitter. There are videos.
This whole video, there was. Welcome, Mousy. Thank you for joining us. There were yeah, you saw some of the videos.
Yeah. I mean, and I like I listen to those individuals all the time, but I'm
Yeah.
like, you know, you can't. I mean, the problem with the Japanese charts is they're only useful to prove a point for people who don't bother actually following them. So like you have to look at the entire like what is it doing like over like maybe even like a 3 month period. But what they do is they'll see like a week or two and be like, what? And you're just like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And not looking at it in context and like, okay, the hardware sales are suddenly going up, right? Because there's increased supply. They sorted out there's a supply issue. Jim Ryan said they was going. The supply issue was solved. It's done. It's done. So there was a whole bunch of people that had been waiting for PS5s that hadn't been able to get them, that managed to get them in Japan during that period. But because the software was barely changing, it was just like, oh, there's just new releases that were taking up almost all of it. I'm like, well, this isn't. Let me just. I was the same as you, Mousy. I was just like, let me see how. And I was always like, maybe the hardware, maybe the software will improve a bit, and we'll see, but it will take a few weeks, and it'll sort itself out, stuff like that. But so far, in my opinion, it hasn't really. We just, get some big releases that sell a lot, but overall. So, the following week.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, no,
go ahead.
you're right.
No,
No, I
ahead.
just saying you're right.
Oh,
I
okay.
just say you're right.
Right. No problem. So the following week, so this is now week 9. Okay, so we had a few new releases like Kirby's Return to Dreamland, Octopath Traveler 2, and Like a Dragon Ishin, right? And there was a few. There was Ark Survival Evolved, Digimon World Order, and the Horizon Call of the Mountain PSVR 2 bundles that PSVR 2 released that week, and we got Call of the Mountain numbers because it was bundled with there was a bundled version with the PSVR 2, right? So that's why that's in there. Okay, so this week the PS5 again 91,000. This is when all that dancing in the streets was happening. We were just talking about. They were still going on with it, right? So, but then you look at the software. It's like, okay, so software was up a lot this week because of all these new releases. So 498, 780 units of software sold that week. Now, 370,000 of those, 74% was on Switch. 85,000 or 17% was PS5, 43,000 or 9% was on the PS4. So this is what I meant about PS4 software dropping off. That's why I think that most of the people who were able to get hold of these PS5s were people that were already PS4 owners, because the PS4 software just dropped off so suddenly. It was like overnight. So for all those PS5s that are selling, it's barely going up. Like 85,000 units of PS5 software with 91,000 PS5 selling, of which 77,000 were the disc version. So you see, this is still not looking great. I don't think this is what one would expect from that much hardware selling. This is 4 weeks in a row of it selling that high, right? But it's like not much change.
Well, and I mean, we could sit and debate it and all that, but I mean, I don't think, like you said, I think there is some people catching up and playing catch up. There's a few things there. There's also people that are really fond of something like, say, Genshin Impact or something. I mean, that's probably a bad one, but like Fortnite or whatever on consoles. So, but the fact is there were people who were celebrating it, and it's like, you really don't. You have to watch the whole market over a trend to actually start celebrating it. It's like, I told people like, that the Switch was going to pass the PS4 install base, and there were people who didn't believe what I said, and like on forums, I'm not going to post it, but like on forums who were like, whatever, and I'm like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And not just in Japan, like worldwide, it's going to happen. Like you can't act like you're in this, ignore this position for too long. And I think that's the case here. But like I said, the thing that I dislike is people don't really look at the entire bigger picture with any of the sale charts, but especially with the Japanese ones. They'll take like a snippet of what's going on, and it's like you can't take 2 or 3 weeks, especially because we are around weeks that now there's more units that could be playing catch up. We aren't that far from the weeks that you pointed out, and the popular weeks. We aren't that far from New Year's, which is a big holiday in Japan. So people might have had saved up money, to go out and buy some of this stuff.
Yeah.
There's, we have to see what it does over time. And I do believe that Sony's figured out the stock problem. So I do think we are starting to settle down to a natural baseline, and it's not 90K.
So, Mousy, you wanted to talk about this baseline, and I tried to make the title of the podcast non-trolly. So you have to put question mark. Otherwise, it's trolly, right? So, you wanted to discuss this. Now, what I was just talking about with Kike just before you came in was the oh my god, I'm looking at the wrong page. The hardware sales and how they were initially high. Yeah, on this window here, we had these 90K weeks, and then since then it's like just trended downwards, right? And a lot of people have been wondering what the baseline actually is, or what it could be, what the true demand is. I feel like we still don't know. I feel like we still need a few more weeks. I feel like next week will be up a bit because of Resident Evil 4. But then after that, there's like nothing really between then and like Final Fantasy 16.
I don't think we're gonna. Oh, sorry, Kiki, you go.
When did the price go up for the PS5 in Japan, or am I misremembering?
It went. Oh, I actually can't remember. Was it the end of last year or the beginning of this year? It was.
That's a good question.
I think it was the end of last year, right?
But they did.
Yeah, I think there was No, they did. They went first in Japan. They went first, and then Xbox went shortly thereafter.
Yeah, when PS5 was in a number of regions, right?
PS5 was pretty much everywhere but the United States. But I think it was right before God of War released, the Ragnarok release.
Right. So, that was like November then.
Even earlier than that, I think it was September, because people were commenting on the fact that all they could find was the Horizon bundles in the States. So even though they hadn't gone the price up, they also couldn't find a non-bundled version of the PS5.
Got ya. Okay, yeah. So yeah, it probably was before Ragnarok released. Yeah. So the price rise. I feel like there wasn't an effect of that from like last year to now. There hasn't really been it in the Japanese sales we're seeing, just because the supply wasn't there. So there were so many people that couldn't get hold of them that like the increase of, I think it was maybe $35 US, something like that it worked out to, that they didn't care about that price increase. So I think that's the hardcore people that just they didn't care about the price increase.
I think though that they would have. I mean, the thing is that the people who wanted one. I even in a lot of markets, I don't, and that's why it was able to occur, is I don't think people with regards to those kind of devices. I think Nintendo have something like a Switch Lite. Like maybe they don't go into that in the next gen, but they will eventually create one like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, do you mean Sony will?
No, I'm saying I don't think Sony has to worry about price. I think Nintendo has to have like something that's more entry level price. Then they can also have they have to have the 2 SKU, but I don't think Sony does, because I think with that particular machine and for what it does, globally, I think most people, they might complain a little bit about a price increase because it does sting, but I think it's still going to get bought at that price, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. It does sting a bit, especially the announcement was like, because it was everywhere but the US. Like, I feel like if it had been the U, people did kick off. People kicked off about it. They did kick off, but I feel like they would have kicked off so much more if it had been the US as well. But Sony, pretty much, they know it's not in their business interest to raise the price in the US, which obviously is their biggest market, right? Because of they want to be competitive, especially with Xbox.
People can, okay, so saying it doesn't sting or anything, but the thing is people, there's like a difference, and I've said it before, like between the Twitter people and the complaints there and like the average Joe kind of person. They might grumbly, but the fact of the matter is they'll still do it, and that's why companies get away with stuff, is because they'll still do it. So it doesn't matter. Like, the prices have raised on both console manufacturers to $70, and we have a $70 Zelda game coming out. Not to get into prices, I'm just saying the average person, they might get a bit grumbly, but they're still going to pay it. And I think for Sony's machine, they looked at the business globally and said, you know what, people are still going to buy that. So for the Japanese market, I just don't think that are interested in that device. I don't think that was a deterrent for purchasing, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that this is not a deterrent because of so many people that where the console's still so much in demand, and it's just definitely hardcore gamers who definitely will. The price increase is an obstacle to them, and when it comes to the demand in Japan with the price increase had already happened, obviously, before we saw those like 90k weeks recently. So I think like those people, they definitely didn't care. Now I think a lot of the hardcore people have managed to get hold of a PS5. We'll have to see how it goes in the following next few weeks. But I think quite a lot of people have managed to get hold of one, and then it's going to get on to. Then you get the more average Joe people who they don't necessarily run out and go and buy a console at launch. They're kind of late adopters. They might even wait for a price drop or like a slim version, a revision or something like that. So there's people like that will just hang on and wait.
Yeah, and that's where I think. See, I don't think we're even going to know the base in a couple weeks. I think we're going to have to wait till Final Fantasy drops there, because that's going to be a key piece of software. That's going to be, now, I'm not saying during the weeks it launches, but I mean after that launch, because you have to think, like, for instance, it will shift in May towards Nintendo because of Zelda. So no matter what we see, once we hit May, you're not really going to see any really good like comparisons, because it's going to shift over to Nintendo for Zelda. But I think after June, maybe when we look at like September, somewhere in that July, August, September range, because I do think you're going to get a Spider-Man 2 announcement, and that is fairly popular in Japan. So now you're going to be building software that market, with Final Fantasy, Hogwarts, and that might have a little bit more pull. So I think that's where you're going to see whether or not the demand, like baseline, like I was saying.
Yeah, let's check. I can't remember what Spider-Man the other one saw. Spider-Man. Let's see if we can find it.
I know that Genki's always saying that's like, never underestimate Spider-Man in Japan.
Okay, so I can tell you exactly what it sold. So the first week was 132,000, and the total is 307,000 in Japan. Marvel Spider-Man. But then there was also a value selection one on the PS4, and so I'm just looking at. Obviously, it's bringing up old Spider-Man thing, like, Spider-Man 2 on the DS. Just ignore that. Maybe I can sort these by date. Can I sort these by date? Oh yes, it's bringing up.
That might help.
Yeah. Okay. So it's bringing up the Amazing Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3. Okay, let's ignore Spider-Man 2 on the PSP. Ultimate Spider-Man on the GameCube and PS2. Not those ones. Ignore those ones. The recent ones. Okay, so. Oh yeah, so there was a Spider-Man game, a Marvel Spider-Man Game of the Year edition. There's no data for that one. The value selection sold an additional 15,000, but yeah, the main one has a total of 307,000. And Miles Morales. Sorry, let me just quickly Miles Morales.
No, sorry.
So Miles Morales first week. So it's this split between PS4 and PS5. PS4 is 22,000. PS5 it was 18,000. The total of that, the PS4 total is 45.6 thousand, and the PS5 total is 66.2 thousand. So that's over 100,000, right? So that's 111,000 for Miles Morales. Now that's okay. I mean, I wouldn't say that's okay. That's about like what I would think like this style of game would get in Japan. But like I don't think it's gonna do. Like it'll probably do about what it did here, like the Spider-Man 2. For example, like, and I brought up this because someone was being really annoying on Twitter yesterday. And I brought up this example. I said, let's look at a B-tier Nintendo franchise like Kirby. Let's look at a B-tier Nintendo franchise. Kirby is not one of Nintendo's top franchises. But even with the new game, it's not one of Nintendo's top franchises, right? Kirby's Return to Dreamland, an old-ass Wii port, sold 189,000.
It's Kirby supremacy.
So can you see what I'm talking about with like, okay, it's the Spider-Man sales were. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I think it's gonna. I don't know what Genki's talking about. Maybe Genki hasn't seen these numbers, but it's not gonna do. It's probably do about what this one did. It might do a little bit more.
Yeah, I think, but that's the 5. But I mean, like the original PS4 version, like you said, you don't have the value numbers, and I think there's a little bit more in there. I don't think it's like, I mean, nothing's gonna. I think for Western franchises, it does better. But where I was gonna go with that is that I don't think that's going like you. I don't think that's gonna like. But I'm saying that this is the year where they actually have more software out there where if there is interest in Japan in the PS5, we should start to see it. And if we don't, then that's where we can look back and say, okay, well, this isn't. That's why I'm saying this is the year, because the previous few years, there really wasn't as much on the PS5 that you could point to and say, this is a good reason to get a PS5 in Japan. You see what I'm saying?
I do see what you're saying, and I do think there are some releases that will, like you said, help show us the market. I think though, when it comes to that, if we look back at the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 4 at the time during its its kind of peak years, during its heyday, it got pretty much every big Japanese franchise. It got everything, absolutely everything, and all the stuff that's kind of niche now. All the stuff that's like niche and like has now all migrated over to the Switch was all on PlayStation 4, which some of it still is. Some of the stuff is still there, but it just doesn't really sell on PlayStation as much anymore. Right? So it had everything, because don't forget, the Wii U was a complete flop. Xbox had no presence. The Xbox One was completely non-existent, and the 3DS was the 3DS. It has a completely different architecture and setup, and it can't have the same games as a single screen platform, right? So the 3DS just had its own set of games. So the PS4 had everything: Final Fantasy, Monster Hunter, Persona, Dragon Quest. Well, it had, obviously there was a 3DS there was like a separate 3DS Dragon Quest, but it had the console Dragon Quest, right? It had I can't remember what I was going back. It had everything, literally everything, and a load of franchises that are now were at that time were de facto PlayStation exclusives, and that there was like a number of, I'm not sure, the Falcoms of the world that only developed for Sony, not because they had any type of like agreement or there's no marketing thing. It's just because they want what they wanted to do, right? So we had all of that de facto exclusives and everything. It had everything, and the PS4 still declined compared to the PS3.
Yeah.
I think it's like the market as a whole kind of moving away from just
traditional.
Yeah, like just only play on the television and things are a little bit different, right?
It could be, and it could just be the market is moving. I mean, I know I've talked about it before, but I don't know if the average Japanese consumer is that enthralled with those big HD setup games as much as, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I can only do with what I read and look at, but I don't know if they're more like what Nintendo releases, if that's more like, interesting, and that's more, and what releases on the Nintendo makes more sense to what their interests are, as opposed to, you know what I mean? Like, we're sitting here and we're saying, and it could be, but to me, I don't know whether they've moved away from a more traditional setup, or it's more that they don't have the same, like 16 is great, but would it still, like, for instance, you pointed out Dragon Quest 11. It sold when it originally launched. Now things have changed, but the that 3DS version sold as well as the PS4 version.
It sold more.
Yeah. So it's
like why are people going out and buying the 3DS version if there's a PS4 version available? Well, it's because they I guess they just didn't want to.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if the tastes are more like, if they run more of the whole, like, we don't, the average, it's more like this, I don't need to have it look like this and run at 120 frames per second and 8K graphics as much as I want something that I could pick up and play, or just play for a little while, because that's another issue. Like, almost every Nintendo game, you just, even if you're playing it on your television, you can pause it and then go about and do other things in your life, and you can return at any point at any game.
Yeah, that's true, and there definitely are some people who are into the kind of graphical showpieces and the things looking a certain way, but I think that the amount of people that are interested in that in Japan is much less. There are definitely people that are just not as interested in the graphics and that, and you can tell that because you don't even need to look at Nintendo games. You can look at other games that are like what most of the Japanese developers make, what their games look like. I mean, if they were interested, there wouldn't just be a whole market of. I mean, talk about Falcom, like, people really love their games, but their games are not graphically impressive. They're basically like, I would say, like PS3 games, something like, even like running on a PS5. It looks like a PlayStation 3 game. So they're not interested in it. The graphics isn't the thing that grabs them, and it's just that's in that market. And I think that, because I was kind of thinking about it, and I was like, okay, so what knowing that the sort of games that are popular in Japan, if I was just an average gamer in Japan, and I'm looking at, okay, so I could buy a PlayStation, and there's a lot of third party games on there that would definitely interest consumers there. But I think it's just the lack of, I think the first party does make a difference, because there's some first party that would appeal, but then there's like even something that's really, really big in the West, like it's just not like, you get like around 100K.
Like God of War?
Yeah, God of War. I mean, what did Ragnarok sell in Japan? Like 50,000, was it? I can't even remember now.
Yeah. What do you think, Kiki?
I think Japan. When you said what is the Japanese audience interested in, I'm like, they're interested in gotchas. That's the real answer.
Well, that too, but Kika, we're talking about like on the consoles, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's that everything went to the phone. So that everything is around being mobile. And it's like, well, I have my phone and my Switch to take around. I'm not gonna take around my PS5 and the Vita's dead. So it
Yeah,
just they changed the lifestyle. The lifestyle changed, and so the three when the three Square Enix was smart to make a 3DS version. Like they knew, they knew that they needed a 3DS version.
they basically had
So
to because the PS4 didn't take off like they thought it was going to. And they realized when they were like halfway through developing the PS4 version, I was like, oh crap, okay, so this is not. You know, we need this the 3DS version wasn't planned from the start, is my understanding. That they kind of decided they needed that, and if they hadn't, then the sales would have been less than half, right? Because we saw the launch sales for the two versions of it.
so it's basically Japan's more mobile friendly. I don't know if that's a word.
I feel
Not
like
like
yeah,
phone, not like phone mobile, like hardware mobile, like anything that I can take with me.
Portable.
Like portable. Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a portable market, and I think, as you said, maybe the style of games is that you can, if you're designing the game right, that's it's going to be on a portable device, then you maybe design it in a different way than you design like some of the big maybe Sony first party games where they have really long cutscenes and you can't pause it and things like that because it's meant to be an actual cinematic experience where you sit down in front of a 4K. Oh my god, you reminded me of something. I was actually I do it every now and again. I look on Japanese Twitter and see what they're talking about, see what people are saying, and I saw this one. I wish I'd have booked. I don't know if I bookmarked it. I don't think I did. This one image was someone that had bought a PS5 and they took a picture of this thing, but they didn't. Oh my god, they had like a really old. Like it wasn't even a 4K television. It was like some really old television that they had, and you could see that they in a like very very small room with this PS5 and this kind of antiquated television. And it said something like, oh, they maybe they need to get a new television because they can't take full advantage. I was like, really? You put the PlayStation 5 on that old TV? It's probably like a 720p TV. Like, really? I don't know, man. I know that's not like everybody. That's just one tweet I came across. I don't know if I bookmarked it. It was just one tweet I came across I thought was funny.
The stuff you probably see on Twitter. Sorry.
Yeah.
Do like Japanese usually live in like small spaces, or
the average house size is like way smaller than the US, and it's the same in the UK. Really, the houses are like way smaller than. It's just America's just so much bigger, so much more room, so the houses are bigger. So the houses are small. Like I'm pretty sure I did somewhere that maybe the average house size is maybe smaller in the UK than in Japan, but it's probably about the same. I don't know, but I read that once. It's maybe even smaller in the UK, but the houses they don't have. This is people necessarily have room to have a great big, set up with a big TV. I mean, I have a 4K, a big 4K TV set up in here, but it's what you'll prioritize a lot. I'm at home most of the time, so I'm not like going out and commuting like a salary man in Japan, so they're out all the time. So it's a bit different, and I think when it comes to the first party games, I think there has to be appealing games there from a first party perspective that can be but deliver reliably, that you know you're going to have this regular cadence of games that are going to appeal to that market. So you've got Final Fantasy 16, which we still don't know how well that's going to do. And in my opinion, I think it's going to do about half of what Final Fantasy 15 did in first week.
I think really.
If. Yeah.
I don't know if it will do half. I mean, maybe. I mean, I want to hope it will, but
I mean,
you know,
that's just
like,
what I think. I don't know. Just on like how lackluster the pre-orders have been, is the only thing I can say. Yeah.
This week we got, I mean, yeah, it was at GDC, but they still got a whole bunch of information that I'm sure is getting filtered back. And even then they had, because I remember Genki translated some Famitsu article on it, and I don't think it's affected. And yes, I know it's like Comeg, but I call it something else too. But I mean,
I call it Comeg. I know it's not. I know it's It's not called Comeg. Yeah, no, it's on here. Look, COMG. Look, I can show you right now. Look.
Like,
the COMG, right? So here, this is the latest one, right? COMG. So you can see on here. So tomorrow's one won't have Resident Evil on it because obviously that's just released, right? So we got Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom here. You can see how many points it has. Resident Evil 4. There's different versions of it, deluxe version, all this. Mega Man Battle Network Collection. Resident Evil 4 Deluxe. Final Fantasy 16 has 19 points with 91, like 3 months to go. Pikmin 4 has 16. Please explain that to me. Pikmin 4 has 16.
yeah.
Pikmin 4?
Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, look at this. Look at Resident Evil 4. We don't even need to look at Tears of the Kingdom because we know that's going to be big. Resident Evil 4, the regular PS4 version 69. The regular, and look, it got 10 points recently. The regular PS5 version 39 points. The deluxe PS4 version 29 points. The deluxe PS5 version 29 points. PS5 Final Fantasy 16 19 points. And you think, oh well, that's just Comeg and da. You can look. I haven't got it in front of me here. I'll have to find it off install base or whatever. The geo charts is like a similar. You can see look at the geo chart is a similar thing. The only thing that maybe looks like any a little bit different would be if you look at Amazon, right? So this is, I'll refresh it. So if you look at Amazon, we've got RE4's obviously just come out, that's what's at the top. Final Fantasy 16 is at number 10. The thing is that you need to remember this is updated hourly. This is hourly, whereas the Comeg is just, if you look on here on like Niche Barrier or whatever, it's like you can get the daily Comeg. Right, or if you follow Pierre on Twitter, Pierre will tweet it out as well. But yeah, it's at number 10. It's been hovering between like around 10 and like maybe 30. It'll just ping back. It'll go up and down really fast. So I don't know, because this is updated hourly. I don't know what causes that. So at one point, it's not here now, but for that game Skull and Bones, that hasn't even got a release date, was up here in like the top 10 for a while. So
the COMG chart is a far more accurate predicting than the Amazon because of that hourly and what else it factors into. Because it also factors other things in there that's like the Comeg charts don't.
Yeah, there's other. So Amazon don't give you. We don't know the exact way that they calculate what they've never. I don't think they've ever revealed. Because I tried to Google like how it was calculated and stuff. I couldn't find any information about how they calculate what is the best selling. Because they have best selling. They have the new releases one. They have, you know, there's a few different categories they have that you can look, different charts they have, and there's no like information about how they calculate it. Now I would say that the Amazon chart is useful. It's very useful, but I feel like it needs to be used in context with other stuff like the COMG, like the geo charts, and even things like views on YouTube videos and so different social media metrics and things like that. I feel like you have to look at those things to kind of gauge a picture. The reason why the COMG is now I'm calling it COMG. It's Comic. No, it's Comic. The reason why that's so useful is because there's so much data going back so many years that you can basically extrapolate and see what things are going to say. But the fact that you have where's it gone now? Final Fantasy 16 is still only on 90. You can compare. Maybe somebody had an install base, but if you compare it to like Final Fantasy, somebody put this on install base. They compared it to some other recent games. Where is that? I need to find that. They compared it to some other recent games.
The Comic charts, though, the nice thing is how they do it. Like you said, Amazon, there's almost no rhyme or reason, and there is and there isn't. It's not a calculation that I feel is a pure calculation. So yeah, based on Geo and Geo and the Comic charts, I hold out a lot of hope for, especially because you have to consider, and that's another thing that I know that there isn't a tremendously large population of Japanese people on the PC, but clearly there was enough to actually ask Yoshi P for him to be like, yeah, we're not going to have one at launch or even 6 months past, so you should just buy it on the PS5. Like, I understood what he was saying, but the thing is it's like, clearly there are people who are like, like have PCs and they're going to wait for a PC version.
Yeah.
For that, even in Japan. So I'm like, so you're talking about a considerable different amount of people that you don't have the numbers you used to have. Yeah, sorry, that was my voice.
Yeah. I was like, just have some water. Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I have allergies. It's seasonal.
Right. Okay, got ya.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's just a considerable difference of.
Oh, look, here, I found it. I knew somebody put this on here. So this is, but I wish I could just look up. I don't know if you can just look up click things that where you thanked. You can look up likes on Twitter. Like you can look at your likes. I don't know if you can do that on this forum. But anyway, look. So somebody put this is Bodoke on install base, right? Here's what they've compared it to some other releases. Comic pre-order 91 days left. So we just discussed this 91 days left, right? So at 91 days left, here are some other games, what they had on Comic. Final Fantasy 15 had 234 points. Final Fantasy 7 Remake had 140. Persona 5 Royal had 96. Persona 5 had 61 and Elden Ring had 45. Meanwhile, Final Fantasy 16 has 19.
That's a downward trajectory.
That's wild, isn't it? Well, they've just put them in that order. That's not the order they came out, because obviously Elden Ring came out after all of those other games. But yeah, they've just put it in numerical order. But yeah, that's like how is Final Fantasy 6? This is Final Fantasy. How is it so low? Like, even just comparing it to the other two Final Fantasy, the two recent, I guess you can kind of call 7 Remake a kind of mainline one, right? It was a big budget Final Fantasy, right? Dude, it's not even anywhere near that. At 91 days, it's the same period, 91 days. Like, what is that all about? Honestly, I never thought I would see a Final Fantasy like tracking that low.
Well, yeah, I wonder if it sells under 100,000.
I don't think it'll sell under 100,000. I don't think it'll sell that low.
If it does,
it's not gonna. Okay, so there's no. Is there a bet where I can bet my install base bucks? I think I already bet my install base bucks.
Go bankrupt.
I haven't bet my install base bucks, but I don't think it's gonna launch at under 100,000. That would be no. I don't think so. Not even I think. If not even I think that, then it's probably not gonna. You know, and I'm pessimistic a lot of the time. I don't think it's gonna launch. I don't think it's gonna launch that low. But like, if you think, what did Elden Ring? What did Elden Ring launch at? Wasn't that like 300,000?
I think. Yeah, it was, but yeah, it was higher. I just feel like we're gonna have to wait and see because I think Elden Ring had more points at this point than FF7 did.
Elden Ring also had a PlayStation 4 version.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So the PS4 version in the first week sold 188,000, and the PS5 version sold 90,000. And Final Fantasy 16 is tracking below that in comic pre-orders.
So Keycat may be right. It may actually open lower, just like lower than 100.
That would be wild for it to open. Do you know how wild it'd be for a mainline Final Fantasy to open? I don't know, man, because
that Sony bag better be big.
So on the one hand, so I'm looking at the numbers. I'm like, this is gonna open like so much lower. But on the other hand, I'm like, no, it can't be. It's Final Fantasy. How is it gonna be that low? How's it gonna have that big of a drop off like that? You know. But yeah, Elden Ring had the benefit of a PS4 version. And then if we
so did Tales of Arise.
Tales of Arise? Yeah, Tales of Arise
it had
a PS4 and a PS5 version.
Yeah.
So we were just talking about this baseline, right? So there was a lot of people, people that were dancing. They were dancing on Twitter. They were dancing all the way on YouTube and all this, right? About these 90k baselines. They know 90k baselines. So there were people. Oh, I was gonna get. There's that noise again. Did you hear that?
What?
Did you hear that? You didn't hear that noise?
Well, not on the Discord.
No, but I heard it the first time. So I don't have the YouTube thing going this time. But the first time
you heard the
noise. This time I'm just listening directly through Discord. So I'm wondering if it has something to do with YouTube. Like, are you hitting the bell?
I'm not pressing anything.
For something?
No, well, even when you do it doesn't make that noise. Did people? Hang on, let me see on Twitter. Is there any? Do we even have any viewers left? I don't even know.
Oh yeah, well, you may have chased them off.
They may.
I do need to go. It was nice chatting with you guys.
Thank you so much for joining, Mousy. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Talk to you guys later.
Okay, take care. Let me. Oh my god, my phone is frozen. Great, it won't open. My phone is frozen. Okay. I definitely heard that bong again. Why is my phone not working? What? Oh my god, I hate this phone so much. I hate it. I want to see if anyone heard that bong. Yeah, I don't know, but I definitely. What is that? I have to work out what that noise is. Maybe it's coming from Streamlabs or something. How's it making that noise? Okay. So yeah, so I don't think that 90k is the baseline. We are going to end in about 10 minutes. I think we'll end in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've probably got to go as well, right, Kika?
Yeah, no problem. Also, I found it weird. So I just thought of this. So Capcom, so they announced Resident Evil 4, right? And they announced it for only next gen. And then
they said the PS4 version. Yeah, they did.
Yes, yeah. I think they also knew.
A lot of people did maybe think because they did the same thing with Street Fighter 6. The thing is, right, Street Fighter is not a big seller in Japan. It just isn't. I've tried to explain this to people. They're just like, oh, it's Street Fighter. It must be big in Japan. But like, have you actually looked at the actual sales numbers? Look, I'll look it up here on Niche Barrier, right? So we've got. So this is what it used to sell on the Super Famicom. Not no more. I ain't selling no 2 million no more. That's for damn sure. That was on the Super Famicom. Not now. If we sort by release date, right? So we've got. They've listed Street Fighter 6, but obviously it's not released yet. So Street Fighter 5, let's see, what was the first release of it? Yeah, so Street Fighter 5, the first release of Street Fighter 5 on the PS4 right? That got 46,000 in the first week. So the first week sales were 46,000, and the total, so until now, basically, it's just released in 2016, it's 85,000. That's not big, man. That isn't big. And then Street Fighter 4 was split between PS3 and 360. It was 45,000 first week on the PS3 and 2,800 first week on the 360. And it looks like it didn't sell any more on the 360 after that. And then the total was 69,000 on PS3. Right, so Street Fighter is not big in Japan. You might just assume it is in your heads, like, but please, I ask people, just look at some actual sales numbers and maybe see what these things are selling in Japan. And when it comes to Resident Evil used to be big, but it's not anymore. It used to be like, you know, millions. How much did it sell? Be like 1 to 2 million, right? That it was selling.
So you know what's gonna be like the two interesting games to look out for to see if they sell well on the PS5?
What's that?
One, the next Monster Hunter after Rise is all said and done, because I think they're gonna make a next gen Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. And then I don't know what the consensus is, but I don't know if Dragon Quest 12 is gonna make it to the PS5.
I think it will.
I don't know.
In my opinion, it will. I think it will be on PS5 and Switch.
Because usually they just go with the popular platform.
They do. They have done that. So historically, for every Dragon Quest, apart from 11, where they had to course correct, apart from 11, every single Dragon Quest has only been on the most popular system in Japan at that time.
I wonder if that's
every single one.
I don't want to get into rumor territory, but I wonder if that's
you're going to do it anyway, aren't you, Kike? You're going to do it anyway.
Listen, there's a lot of rumors coming up about the next Nintendo thing. I'm not saying they're all real. I'm not saying they're all real.
Oh man, Kike, there's a new rumor every day of the week about the bloody.
I'm
new
just saying
Switch.
that it's starting. It's starting, and when stuff starts, usually.
Yeah. So, no, you're right about Dragon Quest. That is normally what they do. And at the time they started making Dragon Quest 4, they thought that the PS4 was going to be the most popular. So it would remain or get really popular, right? But then it didn't do what they thought it was going to do. So that's why they was like, oh, quick, emergency 3DS button. It's the big 3DS button that they have. And then usually he's got a big 3DS button on his desk. It's like, and then an alarm went off, and then it has like
I don't think
3DS version.
I don't think they're gonna accept whatever bag Sony might be coming up with.
Let me tell you something right now. Sony is not going to give Square Enix, Yuji Horii a bag for Dragon Quest. Sony could not give two bleeps about Dragon Quest. I'm telling you, they do not care about Dragon Quest. Especially mod. They don't care. There's no history of Sony caring or doing anything really with wanting to have Dragon Quest. There's just nothing. People just assume that. I think I'm not saying you, Kike, but I think some people just assume because the most recent one was on the PlayStation 4 and we never got the 3DS one in the West. People are like, oh, it's a Dragon Quest. It's like it's always on the PlayStation. It's a PlayStation franchise. It's affiliated with Sony. No, like it's Sony. I especially like modern day Jim Ryan Neo. I call it Jim Ryan Neo PlayStation. Neo PlayStation. Jim Ryan Neo PlayStation. That's what I call it. Jim Ryan Neo PlayStation. That's what I call modern day PlayStation. They especially don't care about that. I very much doubt they would give, because they know that. Basically, if Dragon Quest is one of the remaining few franchises that sells better in Japan than anywhere else in the world, the majority of the sales of Dragon Quest 11 were in Japan. It was like 70% was in Japan, something like that. So Like, so you don't put it on Switch or you don't put it on Switch, Nintendo console in Japan. You're gonna lose a lot of money. And let me tell you that Square Enix, I'm gonna say it's Square Enix. Square Enix is the publisher. At the end of the day, Yuji Horii is in charge of that franchise. It is his franchise. Square Enix does not own Dragon Quest. I think they may own the publishing rights or the trademark or something. I think they just have the publishing rights. They don't actually own the franchise. At the end of the day, Yuji Horii makes all the decisions about Dragon Quest. So it doesn't matter what hard it is. It's just too weak, and they're not gonna make. If they have to make a whole different version with a whole different art style, specially made for the Switch like they did for the 3DS, they will do it. Let me tell you, whereas they are missing out on a huge chunk of sales. Right? If they have to make an entire different version on an entire different engine with an entire different art style and everything for the Switch, they will do it. Because there's no way they're going to be missing out on what will be like the majority of their sales. It'd be commercial suicide. It really would. It really would. It just would not be good at all. But yeah, I was just talking about. I had some other topics, but I've been live for too long, so we're not gonna. We're not gonna get onto the. This always happens. I had a thing planned out, but we ended up talking about like Dynamax Pikachu for Fat Chungus Pikachu.
The Gigantamax Pikachu. Oh man, that was so sad. It was like when I saw the ending of the anime. I was like,
I haven't watched the anime since like I was a kid. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
So how did they? So Ash and Pikachu just went off into the sunset. Is that what happened?
I mean, it's more like the sunrise, but yeah, it's basically like.
Oh right, but don't spoil it because people are gonna listen to this and go, "Oh, you spoiled it," and and okay, they just left. Okay, they're gone. They got new Actually, I will show that on Twitter. Where's my Twitter?
Yeah, they got.
So these two new protagonists. I retweeted.
2 new protagonists.
There we go. So this is Liko and Roy.
Yeah.
Liko comes from the vibrant Paldea region and carries an awe-inspiring, beautiful pendant, which you can't really see in this picture because it's inside of her. It's inside of her shirt, so you can't really see it. Mm-hmm. And Roy, a boy from the charming Kanto region, possesses a mysterious Pokeball. So we can't see his Pokeball. So we can't. So she has the Rotom phone. So these are pretty nice designs. I really like these designs. I think they're well designed characters. So here's Liko, and the new series is called Pokemon Horizons, the series. And then here's Roy. This is Roy's from Kanto, and whatever this Pokeball he has, you can't. There's no you can't see it. So they're not showing. So they're telling you that they have these things, but they're not showing it in this key art that they have here. So I think they're very well designed characters. I really like them. I don't know. I haven't watched. I literally haven't watched Pokemon since like the original. Like I watched because I loved. Oh my god, I used to love that back in the day. But I just fell off of watching it. And if I was to watch it now, like the avenues to watch like every single Pokemon, they're not all on one streaming service. You can't just go. They're not all on Netflix. And for example, if you go on Netflix, they only have the dubbed one. You don't have the Japanese. They don't have the rights to the Japanese one at all. You can't if you want the Japanese one. You need to go like extra legal means. You know what I'm saying? You need to. And there's a lot of work to go and find all of those and do all of that. And so Netflix doesn't even have all of the dubbed ones. They don't have they have some of them. And there was even a tweet that like Pokemon, the Pokemon official account put out this tweet, and they had like, oh, here's Pokemon TV, and they showed all the series. And then if you want to watch, there was all these different servers. You couldn't even watch. You'd like. Well, who's got all of these different stuff? What are you expecting people to do? They're gonna have Netflix, and they're gonna have Amazon Prime, and they're gonna have whatever the other ones I can't remember, the Hulu or whatever it was. And so no one's got all of that to be looking to try and see what every Pokemon, all the Pokemon anime. Now I would like, because I do like Pokemon, but there's some people that watch the anime from like back in the day till now.
Yeah.
you know, I'm not one of those people. Actually, there was like this artwork that I saw. Let me just, we can end on this. Hang on. Do I have it in my likes? This artwork that I saw.
For the protagonist?
No, it was wait, is it in my likes? This, oh no, there's some fan art. There was this fan art that ended up getting a lot of likes, and it's really cool. Oh, did I like it? Maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't like it. Ah, oh, damn. Maybe I missed it. Oh, there's no way I'm gonna be able to find it now. Oh, it's someone's like this person tweets me this picture. Look at this cat. Look at this cat. It's real. Apparently his name's Arby. I think Arby. Beautiful cat. Oh yeah, maybe I don't have it. Oh damn. Somebody. Oh no, it's going too far back now, I think. Oh, Kika, I can't find it. Oh, it was really good. I thought I had hit the like. Because if you don't hit the like button or something, you can't find things that you went and looked at it for. So I'm going too far back in my thing now. So maybe
Sometimes I just bookmark it.
Do you know what? I do bookmark stuff, and I did not bookmark. I know that I didn't bookmark that. So yeah, I do bookmark a lot of stuff, but not that. And this was yesterday, so it wasn't artwork. It was What the hell? Okay. Oh, it's just a funny image on Twitter. Anyway, it was just like a fan art of like them watching the Pokemon series when they was, or like, you know, of someone.
Oh, was it like a Japanese house and it's like a little girl watching?
Yeah. Did you see that?
Yeah, I think I did. I didn't save it, but yeah, I saw it.
I was trying to find it. Yeah, but it's gonna be so far back that I'm not gonna be able to find it on my feed. Yeah, and I thought that I liked it, or I definitely didn't bookmark it. I thought maybe I liked it, but I didn't, unfortunately. So it was that. Oh, it was really good artwork. It's a shame I couldn't find it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It was really cool. But I don't have. I thought this was cool. Did you see this controller? It's a DualSense controller that's been made to look like a PS1 controller. Did you see this?
Let me see. The stream is a bit behind.
Yeah, maybe I should do the ultra low latency. I don't know. It's really cool, but it's I looked up the price, and it is very pricey. Kike, I don't think I'll be getting it, but it is super cool.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I saw it now. Yeah, it looks really cool. The color scheme and everything.
So, do you want to know the price?
How much is a regular DualSense? Like
a regular DualSense is like maybe $70. I'm not sure. But look, here's the cut.
So,
if you want to customize it, look at the price of this Kike. Look at this price. It's $148, and that's before you select like your finish. You can have a matte finish, high gloss finish, pearlite. You have to put a finish on it. It's $148, Kike.
Is that hard to customize a DualSense?
Yeah, but that, what they do is they get a DualSense and then they like a brand new one, and then they customize it with, you know. So you're paying like twice the price of you know, the regular DualSense. But it's so cool, isn't it?
It is cool, but man.
It's so nostalgic.
Yeah.
It's so nostalgic. So, and plus the thing is that I don't even know, because I'm in the UK. I don't even know if this would even deliver to the UK. To be honest with you, even if I really did want it. FAQ. Shall I see? Shipping. Oh, it says they ship all over the world. Shipping costs will apply and will be added at checkout. Okay, so it'd probably be expensive to ship. I'm assuming this is in the US. But yeah, if you're interested in a PS1 classic theme custom controller, and I think they do a lot of other custom. Oh look, they have one that looks like a PS1 Lite custom theme. That's cool. I think the other one's nicer though. This is PS1 Lite. I hope it's like a good quality finish. It's not gonna like fall apart. That's
It better be.
But that would be my concern. That it's that they have like a PS2. No, I think the nicest one is the PS1 one. They have one looking like a PS2. I like that it has the color. The DualSense now doesn't have the. Does it have the colored buttons? It doesn't, does it?
It looks like it, but I don't.
Does it? Wait, hang on. Let me see my one. I'm pretty sure it doesn't have the buttons on it. The colors. One sec. Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's like grey. It doesn't have colours on it. On the it doesn't have the. It doesn't have the colours. The shapes don't have the colours anymore. They're just grey. They're just grey. So I wish Sony would actually make one that had the colours on it. But the only ones they've done is like where the actual all the bits at the side is a different colour. You know, they haven't done fun ones like this. Like make a retro one. They did for the PS4. I want to say they made like a kind of retro looking system for the PS4. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of want this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not getting it though, Kike. Stop trying to make me. Okay, so didn't get to all the topics today, but I still think we had a really good podcast. And this topic, Genki shared this link with me about what's going on where this I think this is a lawyer basically said that Sony's just has full control of the Japanese market. Because basically they've made this definition of the gaming market, the console market, to specifically exclude Nintendo. So if Nintendo doesn't count, that means Sony has control of everything, obviously. And it's like antitrust, and in Japan they're colluding with antitrust regulators against Microsoft. Does that even make sense? Anyway, that's why I wanted to talk about that. This just sounded absolutely wild. This just sounds completely wild.
This whole thing needs to end. When they need to approve it or something, because it's getting.
So, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think this is going to get approved? Do you think there's going to be concessions or?
Oh, I mean, there's going to be concessions, but it's going to get approved at the end. Because if the UK approved it, I mean, I know we still have the FTC, but if the UK was the hardest one. The FTC was needs to have a good case as to why to deny it, but yeah, it's gonna go through.
So sorry, go ahead.
Like, Call of Duty is gonna stay on everything because Minecraft is still on everything, and that's like the biggest selling game of all time, and they're gonna keep it on everything forever.
That's true.
So I just never.
That's true. Although I think if Sony hadn't had pushed back on this, I don't think that Microsoft would have kept. I think because Sony kicked up such a fuss, they started doing all these 10-year deals with these different companies. I don't think they would have done that otherwise.
My thought before all this happened is that they were gonna keep Call of Duty on everything, but every other IP was gonna be on Xbox.
Or Xbox only. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like everything that's not Call of Duty, which I know it's not a lot, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, it'd be things like Crash Bandicoot. There's Tony Hawk. Games. There's I mean, I don't know who knows if they're going to make more Spyro the Dragon and all that. If they make any of those games.
Because Microsoft is weird because they had this whole period of time where they put all their smaller games on Nintendo.
Yeah, was weird. That was really
just because
weird.
And so they
don't do it anymore. But there was one period of time where they did that. They did it all like it was a handful of games, right? And then they just not anymore.
Yeah, so they're capable of it. Man, they're going wild. They're gonna start. They're gonna start going into actual cat fights on the court next time.
Yeah, and there was the other thing that I was going to talk about was that it was it's been provisionally approved by the CMA. So I think did I? Oh my god, why has this popped out? Don't pop out. Did I have this? Did I save this as a bookmark? Where are my bookmarks at? I can't even see them. Yeah, hey, I did save it as a bookmark. So this is Tom Warren tweeted this out earlier today. It's several hours ago now. Breaking the UK CMA. Oh, sorry, this is the CMA, not the FTC. And I said CMA, didn't I? Yeah.
FTC is the one that has.
FTC is the UK one. So this is the UK was the one that was kind of pushing back the most. So yeah, so it says the UK CMA has provisionally concluded that Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal will not result in substantial lessening of competition in console gaming services because Microsoft is unlikely to withhold Call of Duty from PlayStation. And so they've had these 10-year deals that have gone to different companies. They've made these 10-year deals with different companies, and they offered it to Sony, and Jim Ryan was like, no. It's like that, you know, that Bugs Bunny gif, that Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
no. And here's the thing. So let's say Sony is not obliged in any way to sign that deal, right? Let's say Sony doesn't need to sign that deal, right? Because what's going to happen? The deal will go through, and because Sony hasn't signed the 10-year deal, Microsoft will go, oh well, we're not putting Call of Duty on PlayStation anymore. Of course they're still going to put it on there. I don't think Sony needs to sign the deal. Because like the CMA says, Microsoft is unlikely to withhold Call of Duty from PlayStation. I don't think they need to sign the deal.
I think it's so that it's official, like, even if, like, you can never know, so it's better to have it on writing, like, hey, you're obligated to do it. And also, I don't know if this can happen, I don't know, but maybe Microsoft can be like, hey, we offered the deal, they didn't sign it, so, I know, that's up to them. We're not going to put it on there. We did our best.
They could do, but if they do, I mean, if they did that after they had bought Activision, and you say this is a few years down the line, right? And
what they could do is formally offer it after the fact, like, here's the same deal we did get to everybody, and they still say no after that. So
they'll just remove it. They'll just remove it before 10 years. So say, well, okay, you didn't sign it. Well, we just. So then that's kind of shady to me, because it's like, okay, you made this whole fuss about we're not going to, and then after a few years, so assuming that Sony doesn't sign the 10-year deal, then Microsoft is not obligated to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation for the next 10 years, and so they're like, well, you didn't sign the deal, let's remove it before 10 years. That doesn't look good.
Here's the thing: if the FTC approves it, they're gonna sign the deal. They're gonna sign it. Like, they're gonna sign it.
You think
like
Sony will sign it?
Yeah, because it's better to still have Call of Duty at all than to not have it at all. So
yeah, but that's the thing. I don't think they won't have it all. I think that that Microsoft would still have it on.
I think Microsoft wants it. I think Microsoft wants it on their terms. Like, hey, everybody gets.
Yeah, they want it on their terms. Yeah.
Everybody gets Call of Duty the same thing, and Sony was like, "No, we want our exclusive perks." It's like, no.
Sony wants it. Sony wants it in perpetuity. Not only that, basically Sony doesn't want this deal to happen at all, which you can understand because it's not in their business interest for this deal to go through, right? They don't want the deal to happen at all, the reason why they were bringing up Call of Duty so much was because it's like the biggest like money, like revenue making franchise that's on the, I guess, the Activision side, because I know that Candy Crush and all that makes a lot of money, but that would like directly impact Sony, because obviously the mobile stuff doesn't. So like continuously bring that, they have to continuously bring that one up because of the amount of revenue it drives. Being a premium game, it's not a free to play game, right? The regular Call of Duty, not Warzone or whatever, the regular Call of Duty is not free to play. So you need to be subscribed to PlayStation Plus Essentials, it's called now. You need to be subscribed to PlayStation Plus Essentials to play Call of Duty online, and that's before you get into the cost of the game and Sony's cut from that, and then all the microtransactions, the battle pass and all of that. That's in that game, which is a lot. Jago, hi Jago, welcome. I'm gonna end soon. Hope it's been a good stream. Yeah, it's been pretty good. Didn't get to talk about any of the topics I had planned. Ended up talking about Big Chunga's Pikachu for whatever reason. Yeah. But yeah, what was I saying now? Yeah, I just can't see Microsoft like just saying, well, you didn't sign the deal, therefore, maybe 3, 4, 5 years down the line, Sony, you ain't getting it no more. Like, isn't that doesn't it make them look bad?
Sony?
No, Microsoft.
No, because if they offer the deal again after everything's gone and everything is done, then at that point, Sony, why didn't you take the deal?
Yeah, but doesn't that show that they was going to do that? They was just not going to pull it on if they were not. They just wanted the deal to go through. If the deal goes through, right, they are not obligated. If the deal
goes through and they offer the same deal that they did before.
No. Hang on. If the deal that the ABK deal goes through, right, but Sony doesn't sign that thing, the 10-year thing, right? Therefore, Microsoft is not obligated legally or in any way to continue to put Call of Duty on PlayStation. So why would they? Other than you can say, oh well, they're losing the whole. But yeah, okay, they're using that. But it's the same with everything they've purchased that they're going to make exclusive or whatever. Yeah, they're burning money in Game Pass. It doesn't really matter to Microsoft. They're spending $70 billion on this in the first place. Like it. I don't think that's, you can say that it's true, but I don't think that's in part of their overall plan. That's they're willing to take that loss in order to try and grow Game Pass and so on, right? So at that point, why continue to put it on PlayStation? You can say, well, just not gonna. Well, that's it. You didn't sign a deal, so we're not putting it on there. And I feel like that's probably what they would have done all along.
Well, I think they still won they won the sales, even if it's gonna be lower. Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be lower, but
it would be.
Whatever sales they get from PlayStation, they still get.
It's a lot. Call of Duty makes a lot more on PlayStation than it does on Xbox.
Yeah, so money is money. I think it's just a matter of they want Call of Duty on Sony consoles on their terms rather than.
So in that case, why would Sony sign the 10-year deal if Microsoft was going to keep it on there anyway? Why are they signing the deal? Why are they doing that? Then because first of all, all we know is that it's a 10-year deal. We don't know what other terms and stuff and legal language is going to be in this contract, because we can't see the contract. All we know is this 10-year thing. There could be other things in that contract that Sony is then accountable for or obligated. Maybe they're signing. We don't know what else is in this thing.
I am assuming it's the same that they gave to Nintendo, because we know more about the Nintendo one, but.
Well, we just know it's 10 years. We don't know anything else.
It is 10 years, and they promise they're legally obligated to bring the same version. Whatever Call of Duty gets on Xbox, that's the one that's getting on Nintendo.
Well, yeah, but that would apply to.
I don't know how they're going to
do Sony. Here's the thing. People saying, "Oh, how are they going to do it?" It's like, first of all, I don't give two figs. I don't care about Call of Duty. I'm not interested in Call of Duty. Microsoft, that's on Microsoft. They wanted this deal to go through to the point that they're like, we're going to obligate ourselves legally to put this game on Nintendo platform, come hell or high water. And I don't think they obligated themselves to even put it on the Switch. It could even be on the next one. Because the thing they tweeted out didn't say Switch, it just said Nintendo. So, end of the day, that's their problem. They obligated themselves to do that. No one told them to go and do that. It's their problem. They need to I feel like, well, okay, I don't care. They need to figure it out.
Because right now, Nintendo signed a deal, Nvidia signed a deal, and a cloud company signed a deal.
Yeah, exactly. You can't even remember the name of the other companies.
Yeah, but that's 3 companies. If they keep getting more and more companies, and Sony's the only one out, then that's on them.
Yeah, I mean, it makes Sony. Yeah, I mean, Sony looks, you know, it doesn't.
Because here's the thing, Sony knows it's better to have a compromised Call of Duty than no Call of Duty at all. So they're gonna sign it. I promise you. If
you think they'll sign it? Okay. Do you know what? I would bet you my install base bucks if I could. Right? I would definitely. I can't bet you install base bucks. So I'm gonna have to bet imaginary bucks. Well, the install base bucks are imaginary, but yeah, I would bet you all of my install base bucks. They are not going to sign it.
So I think between the old deal they have with Sony, they still have this year's Call of Duty and next year's Call of Duty, and after that, that's on Microsoft. So,
you think after that, if Sony doesn't sign this 10-year deal, after the marketing deal with Sony has expired, they will stop putting Call of Duty on PlayStation?
I think it will be after the FTC signs it, because the FTC is the last one to approve it. So
I mean, after it's let's just say it gets approved. Sony hasn't signed a deal, but there's still this marketing deal that with Sony that Microsoft will then fulfill, right? Let's say that's fulfilled. You're saying it's like until 2024, and then come 2025's Call of Duty, then Microsoft are just like, meh, tough. You know what? No, you don't get it no more. That's it. You made your big fat Call of Duty list bed, and now you got to lie in it. You go make another whatever. What games are they? Go and make a what their shooters that they have called?
That's a good question, but no, yeah, I'm gonna write these bets. Sony's gonna sign. And then Final Fantasy 16 is gonna sell less than 100K.
No, it's not. Listen. How many install base bucks do I have? I will bet you all my install base bucks that one is gonna sell more than 100K. It's not gonna sell under. That'll be absolutely mind blowing out of this world for it to not sell. For it to sell less than 100K. What?
Yeah, can you put the website on the Discord? Because after I get home, I want to see if I can make an account and see if I can.
Oh, what, an install base?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. I'll type it in here.
Yeah, once I get home, I'm interested in.
It's just in foot. You want this install base bucks?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. Oh, actually, what I can do, Kika, is there's like a referral process because you have to get approved over there, right? So I have put the. Is it .com? I put that in. I can't remember if it's .com or not. Is it .com? Yeah. So what I can do a refer. I think I can do a referral. I can refer you to be approved. I think I can do that. I'll look at that after the stream and see if I can get you approved on.
I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that after. But yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, when it comes to they don't have a bet. Oh no, they have a bet on they have a bet on the sales of. Oh wait, hang on, I'm on the phone. They have a bet on the sales of PS5. Oh, hang on. Final Fantasy 16 retail launch numbers in Japan. Let's see what I did. Okay, so it was like below 400k. There's no 100k on here. It was below 400k, between 400 and 550k, between 550 and 700k, and above 700k. Those were the options. There's no 100k on here, right? I've got how many install base bucks do I have? I'm not sure, but yeah, my bet was what did I bet?
It's gonna have a bad day.
I bet below 400k, and I put 100 install base bucks, so that's the maximum you can put. I put below 400. I think it's gonna be below 400k. So let's see. I felt really confident. I put like the maximum bet on that. Hang how many, does it tell you how many people did each one? Yeah, 26 did below 100, 400k. 19 did 405 to 550. 6 did 550 to 700, and only 1 bet above 700k. So most people think it's gonna sell low on install base, and my install base bucks. I have. Where does it tell you how many you have? Oh, maybe it doesn't tell you. How do I see how many I have? I don't know, but anyway, yeah. So you can't bet on these things though, Kike. They're closed. They're all closed.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's the thing. They all closed. Yeah, it was a while back. You had to bet by a certain time. You can't bet on these ones, but you can bet on the NPDs and all that. But those ones like the Final Fantasy, PS Spider-Man 2 launch sales. Did I bet on that one? So the options were. Oh, this is like a worldwide though. It's not just Japan. Yeah. So I think I bet. I'm pretty sure I bet launch record. I think it's going to be a launch record for Spider-Man 2. I think it's going to be above God of War Ragnarok. I'm pretty sure I put that. Yeah, I put above 5 million PS Studio launch record. That's what I think it's going to do. And I was very confident. Maximum 100 install base bucks. I was very confident. I think it's gonna be a PS Studio record. I think it's gonna be more than God of War Ragnarok. Yeah.
Yeah, more likely. That was something. Okay. Now I really gotta go. So
yeah, I'm gonna end the stream. Thanks for joining me, Kika. Always a pleasure.
No problem. Thank you so much. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap up the show. If I can get this. Yeah. You have to use the stream ending. Just make it official. And I'm gonna try and do some stuff. Oh my god, the thing goes crazy when you put it on. I wish you all could see this. What happens when you put the point of this enlarged pointer over the top of this Streamlabs screen. Okay, so thank you everybody that managed to join me today. Thank you Kike and Mousy for joining me on the call. It's always fantastic talking to you. I've had this live stream up for almost 4 hours. This is a long old stream. And yeah, so thank you to everyone that made it out today. J2 Blue Engage, Dank Meme Center, Symbol the Rapper, Timor, yeah, Mousy, Roche. Roche, you need to stop saying that they're shutting down Team Thunder. No, they're not. No, they're not. I don't think they are. We'll see. J2 Blue Engage, did I say that? Geronimo as well. And we had Jago came in. Jago, I hope you are well, and please listen to the VOD. So, Mousy, why did you put Shush Kika? I don't know what you're responding to, Shush Kika. But you know what? I'll be honest with you, that applies in all situations. So there you go. Oh, I shall do. Oh, awesome, Jago. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Take care.